Yeah, man.
That's hot shit right there, man.
So what we gonna do? We gonna dub.
Looks like we got us another hit.
EUX. I'm dyslexic. The King Chuck ENT DEUX. That's the backup page. Please check us out there. Help us out a lot. You know, like, share, and subscribe. This is copyright.gov, U.S. Copyright Office. More information on fair use. Fair use is a legal doctrine that promotes freedom of expression by permitting the unlicensed use of copyright-protected works in certain circumstances. Section 107 of the Copyright Act provides the statutory framework for determining whether something is a fair use and identifies certain types of uses such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research as examples of activities that may qualify as fair use. Section 107 calls for consideration of the following 4 factors in evaluating a question of fair use: purpose and character of the use, including whether the use of the commercial nature or is for nonprofit educational purposes, nature of the copyrighted work, amount and substantiality of the portion used in relation to the copyrighted work as a whole, effect of the use upon the potential market for or value of the copyright work. Okay, so anything I use for you guys, hit me up if you want me to remove it, edit it, or whatever. Nothing is used to infringe on anybody's intellectual property. I don't intend on doing that, and I don't intend on profiting from anyone's intellectual property. So I'm glad to edit or delete anything that's any of my videos that I've used of anybody. So that's it. News networks are not even getting clicks like that. So this shows like there's an opportunity for this, what we're doing here on this show.
Look up something in back check, kind of like cross-reference.
Yeah, I should put the.
You say you look that shit up. That's the name of your show.
Yeah,
that's right. What really drew me in.
Remember, we want you to be an activist, and don't take our word for it. Look that shit up. Pulley.
Looks like we got us another hit.
EUX. I'm dyslexic. The King Chuck ENT DEUX. That's the backup page. Please check us out there. Help us out a lot. You know, like, share, and subscribe. And hope I don't get in trouble for playing that last video. I probably shouldn't have played that shit. I'm always testing the damn waters, bro. That shit gonna get me.
You are now so deep.
I ain't feeling your side, I'm feeling alright. I'ma get inside, I'm feeling my life. I ain't feeling your side, I'm feeling alright. I'ma get inside, I'm feeling my life. I'm digging your wife, she play my mic. She really so nice, I call her my light. I say we off light, cause we stay up all night. Bet you ain't know she to take it all tight. Tell her, bend it over, let me take a small bite. Been waiting since October, see that ass fall right. Looking around the room, see passport eyes. And adrenaline feeling like a NASCAR ride. When the people ask about this, your ass gon' lie. Cause the truth is you did what you do in your life. Can't nobody tell you what to do with your life. Girl, gon' turn it over cause I know what you like. It's hard in the color of the asphalt, right? Just lay back and wonder what the past was like. While you looking at your panties ripped in half, that's right. While you looking at your panties ripped in half, that's right. I ain't feeling your side, I ain't feeling your side. I'm feeling alright, I'm feeling alright. I'ma get inside, I'm feeling my life. I'ma get inside, I'm feeling my life. I ain't feeling your side, I ain't feeling your side. I'm feeling alright, I'm feeling alright. I'ma get inside, I'm feeling my life. I'ma get inside, I'm feeling my life. Let me tell you a little something about life. Nigga, win, lose or draw, I'm still taking your life. I mean, if you ever wanna fucking come in my sight, you scream like you never screamed in your life. Flip it on over, gon' do it like this. Not riding with a soldier, then you ride against it. Looking from the other side, make your stomach get sick. Every person scheming, thinking he the one to get rich. Ever sit and really think what you would do with one wish? And if you knew afterward, you'd be sleeping with fish. Style will be done, here we come. Bearing gifts, these images make you wanna grab your crucifix. It's getting dark outside, no sleeping past 6. Not living in fear, cause that's really not it. If you owe me something, Nick, better give me my shit. If you owe me something, Nick, better give me my shit. I ain't feeling your side, I ain't feeling your side. I'm feeling alright, I'm feeling alright. I'ma get inside, I'ma get inside. I'ma get inside, I'm feeling my life. I ain't feeling your side, I ain't feeling your side. I'm feeling alright, I'm feeling alright. I'ma get inside, I'm feeling my life. I'ma get inside, I'm feeling my life. Sliding on in, this is it, instant win. If hip hop broke chrome, some fix it then. Take real life shit, go ahead and mix it in. Not just streets unless that's where you sleeping in. They hungry out there, that's why we eating in. Honestly, don't even let the church thinking in. Blasphemous if you think I'm speaking sin. Survival is a must for all the creatures in. If you feeling life's tough, then you probably need a fin. Have a sucker, popsicle or something, take it in. Sharp teeth, eat meat, origin involvement. Why the UFC give you more than a grin? Why you take a seat when the foraging begin? Why you gotta creep just horn in the wind? I'ma stop cause I'm just Al Goring with a pen. I'ma stop cause I'm just Al Goring with a pen. I ain't feeling your side, I ain't feeling your side. I'm feeling alright, I'm feeling alright. I'ma get inside, I'm feeling my life. I'ma get inside, I'm feeling my life. I ain't feeling your side, I ain't feeling your side. I'm feeling alright, I'm feeling alright. I'ma get inside, I'm feeling my life. I'ma get inside, I'm feeling my life. Hitting niggas in they fucking head with a crack. You bustin', I'm bustin' back with a gat that spits venom. Hitting niggas in they fucking head with a crack. You bustin', I'm bustin' back with a gat that spits venom. Hitting niggas in they fucking head with a crack. You bustin', I'm bustin' back with a gat that spits venom. Hitting niggas in they fucking head with a crack. You bustin', I'm bustin' back with a gat that spits venom. You sending black, and when the bottom of the ninth in the smack, you bleeds the cat's waxing them back. Waxing them. the like, selling a little fake deliverance. Full of malevolence, hitting up your residence, taking care of his biz without leaving evidence. Planet heaven sent, what the fuck is this? When I take a trip to the abyss and meet the beast, I'm coming back with it. That's gold words coming from a spectacular man that froze when he.
There we go.
Hey,
What's going down?
what's going on, bruh? How you feel?
Same old thing, man. I'm feeling a lot better, brother.
Yeah, yesterday I couldn't add you to the stream because I had a bunch of background noise and feedback and shit. And I'm really trying to keep this at a high quality. I sell clips of this on Anchor, which goes to Spotify and Apple. So I ain't making no money. I ain't making no money.
Breaking up now. If you want to know the truth, kind of breaking up now.
It might be me. My internet was low when I was looking at it a minute ago, but I think it's going back up. Let me make sure I got everything closed.
Let me step out of this. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, let me step out of this car.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my little intro. How you guys doing out there? Remember, we want you to be an activist, and don't take our word for it. Look that shit up, please. Yeah. So how you guys feeling out there today? You feel good? It's good.
Feeling strong, brother. Feeling strong out here.
What's that?
Feeling strong out here, brother.
Yeah, me too.
Out in this night air.
Man, I was jogging. You know that park we used to go to, the one on the Beltway, and between Bel Air and Beach Nut. Yeah, man, I did some jogging in that park yesterday. I walked around it like 3 times, and then I jogged up the hill on one part.
You breaking up? I can't even hardly hear you, Chuck. You sound like a robot battery going dead.
Yeah, it could be on my end or it could be on your end. What I'm saying is, my legs are sore because I was jogging in the park. So, but I feel good. Yeah, man, you freezing up a bit. Damn, are you somewhere where you get on Wi-Fi? You done froze up. What I was gonna say, I wanted to ask you guys, did y'all know that France had a direct role in the Holocaust? Like, not no passive role, but an active role.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, my bad. I didn't notice you was there. I be doing a lot, and it's like that's another one of the screens I have to look at to know that somebody is there.
Yeah, and I ain't showing my face.
That's cool. Right now you're showing the top of your head.
Oh, you can see the top of my head?
Yeah.
Okay, go
on. Yeah, I'm reading text at the same time and all of this. So yeah, Amina was on the show last night.
Who was?
Amina.
You kidding me?
Yeah, man. She said she enjoyed it. She also told me that she'll try to give me like 2 days a week to give her commentary.
Okay, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
How come you didn't link me in?
Well, shoot, I didn't know. I mean, I had sent her a message to join because we had talked about it earlier in the week. She randomly sent me a message because she had been watching the show. And so I hit her back and then she just jumped on. I didn't know she was going to jump on. I send links out to people all the time. It doesn't mean they're going to react to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was a lot going on in yesterday's show. And for who's ever watching now that watched yesterday's show, I got to apologize for a bit of the riffraff because the show kind of got out of control for a bit. And I really want to try to keep control of the show. I don't want it to be riffraffy. I want it to be clear. I want people to be able to hear. I want people to learn from things. I also want everyone's perspective to be heard. I don't want one person talking over everyone and not allowing other people to speak. So this is a free space for people to speak their mind, no matter what, how they feel or what direction they're coming from. Like, this channel is not left, it's not right, it's not Republican, it's not Democrat, it's not black, it's not white, none of that shit. This is for everybody. So if and what I always say is, if you have a heart and if you care, then that's all that's required. And you're a human. You need to be a human too. So if you're a human and you care and you have a heart, then you can join and chop it up with us on here. But for that to happen, I have to be able to keep control of the show and allow people to be able to talk. You know what I mean? I can't.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: was that Bobby? That was
that was Bobby. His internet was freezing up, so he dropped out.
Oh man, he came by here the other day. He hasn't been doing well.
Oh, really? I kind of wanted to ask him about himself, and that's what I was about to do, but he froze up. Any conversation with Bobby is always entertaining, regardless.
Yeah, you need to give him a call.
Yeah.
He had an accident where he flipped his car and everything. He never told nobody.
How long ago did that happen?
A month.
Yeah, he's like me. I ain't gonna lie. Something like that happened with me, I wouldn't tell none of y'all either.
Yeah, he was all scraped up.
Yep, I wouldn't tell none of y'all unless it unless it was a need to know basis.
It sounds like the same shit he said. Talking about, if I'd have died, y'all would have known.
Yeah, I don't like bad news. People love to share bad news, and I just don't like bad news.
He said the same thing. He said the exact same thing.
People love to jump on it, and bad news spread faster than anything. You tell somebody, I started a business, it's not going to get no clicks on Facebook. You tell some gossip about somebody's wife cheating on somebody's husband, especially if it's somebody you know or something like that, it's going to get a bunch of likes and shares.
Yeah.
People love mess.
Yeah. I don't. I stay to myself. You mind yours and I mind mine.
Yeah. All that, everybody's he said, she said. I don't even want to know. And you know what's crazy about that?
My phrase is, I don't give a fuck.
Exactly. I really don't. I'm sorry, you guys, but I really don't. But I listen, but I don't give a fuck. I'll listen out of your feelings, but I really don't give a fuck.
I'm gonna listen a little bit. I'm gonna give you a damn hint that I don't give a fuck. And if you keep on, I'm gonna tell you, I really don't give a fuck.
What I find weird about that is that being the person that I am, that I don't really talk to people much, and that I'm always brutally honest with people, and that I don't share other people's business and stuff. People know that about me. So because of that, they share private as, personal as information with me all the time. I don't be asking for this. I don't want to know. Like, I don't want to know this stuff.
Really?
I really don't, man. I really don't. But people feel comfortable with me all the time, so they share really personal stuff with me, and I'd be like, ugh, I kind of wish I hadn't heard that.
Well, at least they know it ain't gonna go no further than you know.
But that's why they tell me.
But you don't want it.
I don't want it. I don't. But they know it's not going to go any further than me. So that's why they are comfortable enough to tell me, because I don't talk to people. And if I talk to someone, I'm definitely not talking about somebody else's business or whatever the hell they got going on. Like, and that's why I do this show. I be on this show 4 days a week, 4 to 5 hours a day. And I don't do very much gossip on, like, sometimes the topic goes that way and I try to gear them away from it, because sometimes certain gossipy type of topics pop up. But I'll be on here talking all night, and I'm not talking about what people's business. I do not care. There's plenty of other stuff going on in the world than what the hell somebody is. Like we was talking about in the other show about how people are so worried about what other people are doing in their bedroom.
Oh my God.
Like, who they're having
Chaka, I
sex with.
live with that. I live with that.
What do you
That's the
care?
way Barry is. He be on the phone, and he can be on the phone 2.5 hours, going from one person to the next, and it's the same old shit. We've been together 19 years, and I done heard these goddamn stories so many times, but he still go over and over 'em and talk, and then don't let nothing new come up. Then he gets on the phone and he calls somebody else and say that you ain't heard it from me. This between me and you, and there it go, and I'll be like, I'll be sitting over here in my little area. He be outside, and he just be going. He just be going on and on and on and on. I can hear because his phone be on speaker, and whoever you be talking to, they just be having a good old time talking about somebody else. I consider that talking about people behind their back.
Yeah, and whatever I say behind somebody's back, I'm willing to say in front of their face. So
Mhm.
if it's something that I don't feel comfortable saying, I'm not gonna say it behind their back or in front of their face.
Right.
And I don't give a fuck about what they're doing. So like I don't see how people find it important to talk about, like I say, specifically what somebody's doing in their bedroom, who they're screwing or not
Yeah,
screwing.
what the neighbors doing. What the neighbors doing. The
Like,
neighbor building a shed. What he got a shed for? He can't get he can't, it is not right. But I ain't gonna tell him nothing. Blah 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 blah. Well, that's that man's business. And why you talking to me about it anyway? I be wanting to scream and say, I don't give a fuck. I
Well,
don't give a fuck about what the neighbor's doing.
Well, I can sympathize with that part because that's actually practical. Because if it's your neighbor and they're building a shed, maybe it's blocking sunlight or maybe it's
It
doing
ain't doing
something.
nothing. It ain't doing nothing to us. It ain't bothering us at all.
Yeah.
But
So.
far as he concerned, it ain't been done right.
Well, he's good at making stuff and building. He's like
Yeah,
freaking a genius with
he
that. So I don't know how he can expect other people to be at the skill
be
level
like
of
him
him.
at his level. He think everybody's supposed to be at his level. Everybody can't be at his level.
And most people aren't. Like almost nobody is. He's a specialist. Like
You
he's been
know,
doing
like
it
he just got
for
through painting the
years.
fence. He did it his goddamn self.
Yeah.
Without getting paint on the bricks and shit. You know, and
I ain't
he
gonna
figured
lie.
that shit.
For him, it makes sense for him to do a lot of that work himself because he's gonna do a better job than those people that he would pay anyways.
And he
Like
gonna do it right. And he gonna do it right.
Like those plumbing lines that he ran out to the back and stuff. That shit is amazing. And
Right.
I don't know that if he would have paid somebody to do that, it would have been as nice and perfect.
Right. Just like the bathroom. It wouldn't have been as nice.
Yeah, that roof he put
You know,
on
the
that.
outside bathroom, yeah.
That shit is amazing. So yeah, but that's the thing about a lot of people is they tend to look at the world through their own perspective and they can't seem to get out of that perspective and look at it through other people's shoes. Like somebody who hasn't worked with their hands all day or haven't built a shed before. Maybe they have, but they just don't have the skill level of you. That they don't even have the vision.
But to him, if you don't have hand skills, you ain't nobody.
Right.
I don't give a damn how many degrees you got. If you can't get out there and get it done yourself, you ain't by nobody.
And I mean, I could sympathize with that, but I would say that people still needs to have, they need to be educated also about other things like what's going on in the world, but they need to know how to do things too. So I think it's both. I think people need to be good at making things or stuff, especially being able to deal with food and stuff, like cook, slaughter an animal, deal with chickens and stuff like that. Tell me about you have any stories or memories from when you was younger anything related to like chickens or like
I
slaughtering
had a pet
animals.
chicken. My grandmother who raised me, she had chickens. She had chicken coops. You know, but she got sick and she got bedridden, and it was left to me to feed the chickens. And you know, and collect eggs. But eventually the chickens started disappearing. I don't know what was going on. What happened? they started disappearing one by one. But I had a pet chicken. I took one of the chicks, and it was my chick. And I named him Peter. I even had him on a leash. I used to walk him. I know I sound crazy, but I was raised like an only child, you know, for a long time. But yeah, we talking about getting some chickens over here now.
We was let me ask you this, because me and Pat was talking about gardens. And what do you think Barry would think about having like a community garden in his backyard? What would he say about that? And because you just mentioned chickens, and chickens are quite messy too. So
they are.
Knowing how clean he is, how is he gonna deal with that with the chickens? I'm sure he's gonna have a specific area.
Barry just be talking. Barry ain't finna do nothing. Whereas he got to have he got to do something extra that he don't want to do. He only want to have he put his mind on what he got to do, and he got something to do every day, 24/7.
But that's good.
Holidays, birthdays.
What's up, Pat?
It don't matter what day he's doing something.
But what about if we could talk him into, like, I could manage the garden. I could grow a little garden, you know, some little area in that big ass, huge ass, acre ass backyard y'all got.
Well, it would have to be back there behind the dog pen back there.
Yeah. So how do you think he would? You think he would be cool with that? How would he feel about that?
Well, let's ask him. What you talking about growing?
Whatever, some kind of squash, potatoes, tomatoes.
Tomatoes sound good. Some peppers,
cucumbers, peppers, whatever's easy.
Yeah. Some greens. Greens, man. We had his dad had a hard time trying to grow greens. Because of the bugs.
I was gonna say greens are easy.
The bugs.
They love that.
Oh my God!
All animals love greens. All animals be eating the rabbits. All the animals.
It's the bugs. Some type of bugs that was like
eating and
kept infecting the greens. And all the years that I've been here, when his dad was here, greens never really worked out. Now his okra came out real good, but I didn't want to be. He had me cutting up okra, having my fingers all sore and shit with okra, and I really don't care for okra.
I would have looked for some kind of natural pesticides, like some lizards or some kind of little animal that I could put in there with the greens, and hopefully, eat up those bugs.
Well, if they gonna eat the bugs, they gonna eat the greens too.
No, not certain animals like a lizard. It doesn't. It's not interested in eating those greens. It just wants little bugs.
Yeah. Well, I really don't know how that worked, but I know the greens didn't work out. And who was that I was speaking with?
That's Pat.
Hey, Pat, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm blessed. Highly blessed and favored.
Hey, you can't ask for no more than that.
Yeah.
Yep. So yesterday Amina was on. That's one of the 4 grandkids you have?
Yep. Well, I claim Deuce's babies. I have 5. Remember, you got 3. Alifa got 2.
Yeah, my math
Deuce got
sucks.
2. That's 7.
My math sucks.
Yeah, your math really sucks.
Yeah, but she was on here, beautiful as always, and articulate, intelligent,
Yeah,
representing the female perspective. It was
I would say
great.
we've
yeah,
been we've been needing that female energy.
Yes.
yes.
Yes, we
Yeah.
need to balance the show out. So it'd be nice if she said, I said earlier, Pat, that when I was chopping it up with her, she'll try to give us like 2 days a week. I think she said Wednesday and Saturday night she's gonna try to be on. So
Yeah, they just had some new puppies, so I know she'll be busy.
mhm.
And they had one that they had to bottle feed every 2 hours, but they lost that one. So
Oh,
they getting a little rest now.
right. I get it. This is such a grind. It's just like Pat grinds all the time. He drives trucks. And he owns his own business, so it's his truck. So it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like the same thing that Amina is doing with the dogs, and her and Tanner, because they work all the time. Like
Yeah,
literally, you can't clock out.
24/7.
Yeah, you can't clock out from that job. People be
Yeah.
thinking stuff is easy. They think it's easy to run a business, but a lot of people just not cut out for it. But one of the points I be trying to make though is that it's not for everybody. You know, some people just want to go to a job and 9 to 5 and have nights and weekends off and don't really have to think about work after they clock out.
Right,
Yeah.
that was me.
Yeah. Well, and it's crazy for me. Like, I've always, I guess you could say I was stubborn, but like anytime I work for somebody, like, I can do it for a while, but after a while, it just kind of gets played out, and I just, I don't know if it's just the seasons or whatever, but I can't do it for long.
That's how I am. I either
I
end up quitting or I usually get fired. I usually get fired, but it don't be me. It really be me quitting because I just be like, fuck this place, bro. Like fuck this job, fuck these people. And it don't really be personal. It's just that like when I worked in the warehouse, I made good money and I really kind of enjoyed what I was doing. I was drilling and tapping is what we did a lot, and we read the blueprints and I had to draw. I had to draw it out on these metal sheets using the blueprint, and then I would drill and tap based on my drawings using my measurements. And that's some pretty cool shit. And then after you get done, I get to look at what I actually made. Like, and it's like, even though some projects might take a few days or whatever, or maybe you could get it done in a day or whatever. But either way, like you just like you're working on something and you complete it and you get a bit of satisfaction for it, even though you're like, I'm making money I'm a cog in a damn machine, but still I got the pleasure of this was my things. They're gonna put this in a whatever they're gonna put it in, and I made that shit. So I could go out there and wherever they put it and probably identify the ones that I made. You get what I'm saying? Because they're not all the same.
Happened? So what happened?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I made good money and I really kind of enjoyed what I was doing. And I was working out and going to the gym. That's another part I liked about the job. It was physical. You know what I'm saying? And we was kind of in the elements. When you work in the warehouse, if it's cold outside, it's kind of cold in the warehouse. If it's hot outside, it's kind of hot in the warehouse. So, I mean, that kind of sucks, but it's good for your health. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I was going to the gym, cardio kickboxing. I was in the greatest shape of my life for an adult after my teenage, like early 20s years. But let me tell you, one of the things that bothered me the most about that job was that bell. That fucking bell. I'm sure I told you this story before because it bothers the hell out of me. It bothered the hell out of me. It would go, but it's time to clock in the morning. But if you haven't, it doesn't say time to clock in. Just this is what that bell means. And it's at certain times, specific times. Like the first bell is like you need to clock, make sure you're clocked in. The second bell means if you're not clocked in by this bell, you're late. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times they have meetings right at the beginning, and they'd be like safety meetings or whatever the hell they want to focus on, and they want everybody to be there. So you get in trouble for missing those. So, but then the next bell is later on in the day. It's for your first break. Because officially they have to give you, I think it's 2 15-minute breaks or 2 10-minute breaks. I don't know the fucking law, but they follow the law specifically related to the amount of time for your lunch, and then 2 breaks. You get a morning break and you get an afternoon break. And this is every day at the same time. So when it's time for the first break, that bell rings. But it's break time. Stop whatever you're doing. Put your tools down and you go to the break. Either go to the break room or go outside.
That sounds like a slave job.
Go outside and smoke a cigarette or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And you literally cannot keep working. They will write you up. A lot of people would like to I would a lot of times. It's better for the time going by. And plus you're working on something like you kind of want to finish it. Like you kind of want to I don't know. It's something about it. You just want to keep working on that project because you're working on this thing. You know what I'm saying? You don't really, I don't really feel like taking a break right now. Like I'm right in the middle of something So, but you have to stop or they'll write you up for that shit. So, but break's over. Everybody goes back to work, starts working. Bell rings again, but lunchtime. And it's not like a bell. It's that big kind of like, what is it? It's more like a horn or something. You know what I'm saying? I call it a bell, but it's not a bell. It's like a horn or something. Anybody that work in the warehouse know what I'm talking about because it's like that in all of them. And so, okay, yeah, go to lunch over, evening break over, end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you get some overtime. And they did offer overtime a lot, and overtime was cool because they paid you like a motherfucker for that shit. And you really was half-ass working at that time, so it was great. But yeah, that bell made me feel like a fucking cow, and I would watch people they were herd out of the warehouse, and then they were herd all back in. They were herd all into the lunch break area, and then they were herd back and it was just like this drudge of people with this drudgy look on their face, walking back and forth, and I was like, I might as well be a fucking cow. This is not where humans are supposed to live. And there was people in that warehouse that was making a lot of money. I know a guy right now who still works there. He was one of the supervisors. They make a really good money. The managers there work good money. They have engineers that work for them because you have to have engineers to double check these blueprints. You know what I'm saying? So they have a certain number of engineers on staff. So it's a number of people that's making really good money in there. But still, they all hearing that fucking bell. No matter what salary. Go ahead. What you gonna say?
So you can you had said something I was about to respond to. What did you say before the bell thing?
Damn it, I don't remember, man. Fucking just talking about how it's making you feel like a cow and fucking like like you're like nobody cares about you. You don't really exist. You're just a cog in the machine.
You don't exist.
You're really just a number. I mean, the people that's closest
there you
to
go.
you,
That's what I was gonna say.
They know that I mean, the people that's there that works close to you, yeah, they know your name or whatever, but for the most part, once it get past your management, shit, you're just a number.
And even the people in the warehouse don't know who you are. They see your face every now and then or whatever, but they don't know you. It's a bunch of people walking by. Like, people get fired, hired, and quit. This shit happens all the time. Like, another Joe Blow walking by.
Yeah.
Or working next to me even.
What was y'all conversation last night with Amina?
I don't know. We touched on the LGBTQ a bit. I talked about socialism, kind of like the aristocracy being kind of like a leech on society, basically, and not really producing anything.
Oh, France.
And we talked about France, and that's what I want to get into today is more about France. Because like I was asking at the beginning, did y'all know that France took direct part in the Holocaust? Like they were directly involved in the Holocaust on the bad side.
Along with Germany.
Along with Germany. Just like they were buddy and buddy with Germany at this time.
But so did you. See, that's the thing. Like, I think there's a lot of stuff that has not come out, like true stuff that has actually come out about that. Because I mean, if you think about it, I mean, look at what we have in Ukraine right now. But when they supposedly was those refugees that was coming out of Germany, they were bringing Nazis, like not just the Jews that were trying to get out, but they were bringing some of those Nazis back to the United States. And they said a bunch of them were scientists, but however, I mean, they've been here, and we got like 2 generations, at least 2 to 3 generations of them that's grown up here in America. So
wow.
It's a lot of craziness, and I think they've been brushing like these specific types of things in history. Like that dude said in the other video, what's missing? The missing pages is our history. So these are some of the things that they're embarrassed about, and they kind of like, they don't teach you about. You don't learn about this stuff ever. If you do, they brush over it really quickly, and you don't really get the perspective. You don't really get, because France's image, like even to this day, that's the point of me talking about this shit this week. France's image in the world is like what? Like they're like the cultural people. They're the people who are most like intelligent or whatever. That are, they have the ability to have the best taste in art and fashion and food and shit. They're like the epitome. It's like that movie Django. The guy in Django, he was pretending to be French or whatever, and he made his maids and shit dress up, in French clothing and stuff, because he looked up to French people, and he looked at that as like, the classiest, high class.
I guess.
Yeah, so
and I guess
course,
it was somewhat true to an extent. I mean, but once the I guess I don't know really how to what words to use to separate them, because I mean, the old world France was a bunch of nobles, but
because that's what a lot of this comes from is like what the Renaissance or whatever, the French Revolution and all of that stuff. So, but it's funny how, because a lot of that came from brown people, the immigrants that came over there, and them meshing, and then a lot of what France is also because of all of the colonizing that it's done over the years. You got French people who are basically Africans, French people who are, whatever, on the islands in the Caribbean and shit. Mm-hmm. But these are French people because they grew up French. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what makes French great, really, is the cultural diversity that it has. But the image of France, of this, ultra classy thing, you know what I'm saying? I never understood it, even when I was younger, and it's kind of like taught to you even academically in college. So, but I never was like, oh, the French are so much better than everybody else in the world. Like, oh my God. But that's kind of like the image or whatever. That's the narrative. That's the narrative that we're fed. And so the Django example is good because that guy, of course, he wasn't all that intelligent. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it works. a guy that is not willing to take the time to look anything up is the guy that's going to fall into this perception of France as being really, really classy. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
I just got distracted. Let's get back to the topic. Yeah. So I do have a
It's
video.
enough to distract you. Cause this I got a little distracted myself. But all right. So now where were we?
I'm gonna go on to France. Marjorie Taylor Greene is going through it lately. She's catching it. She got into it with
Who is
the
this?
CNN reporter. She's a senator. And she anyways, her name just keeps popping up. She's really a nobody, but she is a somebody because she's a senator, but she's a loud voice basically.
It's not the one that's about with the immigration stuff, Puerto Rico.
Nuh-uh. She's not related to the Puerto Rico stuff.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find this freaking video. It's called the Roundup. That's it. Because that's what it was considered. My mom is calling me. Hello?
Yeah, I lost you. I don't know how I did that.
Just click back in.
I don't know how to do that.
What did I do? I sent you a link. I'll send you another link.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah. So, why the hell is France so damn powerful? And also, why does it continue to have this image of being this high class society or whatever, being that they're have more class than everybody else in the world, even the rest of Europe? Why do you think that is, Pat?
What do I think? Wait a minute, I missed the
Why do you think that it continues to this day that France has this image of being more classy than others in the world, even more classy than others in Europe? Oh man, you're breaking up. You're breaking up. Wait. Yeah, now I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think it has a lot to do with the language.
Okay. Yes, that's a good answer.
A lot of people respect the language. They think it's hot. They think it's sexy, and I mean, the culture there is actually pretty cool. Like as far as like, you got the Eiffel Tower. It's it's a lot to France. But I think overall, a lot of people do kind of get subdued or what's the word?
Brainwashed, romanticized.
Yeah, I think they're somewhat seduced by the language and the culture.
Yeah. And well, what I was going to say about the language was they colonized so many people and they forced people to speak French. So when you learn a language, you also learn a culture, and the language that you speak also has a lot to do with the way you think. And that's one of the things they be talking about English being such a language full of spells and stuff. And some of the old elders thought French of as like a babbling language. Like these people are babbling. Like we need to teach them something else because they're babbling. You know what I'm saying? That's how they looked at French and English. Like the people, we sound like idiots to them. So, well, I'm trying to explain that the way you think is related to the language that you use. You know, you're limited with the language that you use, and also the language comes with a culture attached to it. So, if you speak a certain language, then you're going to like think within that culture related to that language.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's pretty much everywhere. I mean, no matter where you go, because I mean, I think there's a spell within the French language, the English language, Spanish. Because I mean, it's really the frequency, it's the intent behind a lot of these words that really makes it a spell. Um, the way you say stuff, the way the way you see it can make it where you can put a spell on yourself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
my point is about the power that the language gives over, the country of France or the people of France when they colonize others, and then they have all these people speaking this language. Like I want to say, French is one of the top spoken languages in the world. More countries speak
nah.
French.
Well,
I'm sure it's up there.
all right, after English, then you think what? Because I
Well,
think it's
I
English,
looked at the list.
Spanish.
I looked at the list before in the past. One of the Chinese languages is like number one. We forget how many of them there are. So when you count it as number of people speaking that language,
Yeah, Mandarin.
it's gonna be Chinese. It's gonna be up there in the top, and then you got Arabic, and then I think English is third. English might be third or fourth. What's up, Doc? Can you look that up for us right quick? Most spoken languages by country or something like that, or most spoken languages by population or number of people. Because what I'm talking about is how France's power is related to its colonizing and changing people's language. So I wonder how high up on the list is the language is French and spoken in the world. Because France is a little bitty ass country with no damn resources. What the hell? So they should be way down the damn list.
Yeah. I mean, you would. Yeah. I mean, I guess if you thinking with common sense, yeah, you would say that they shouldn't really have the power that they do. But I mean, see, but that's the whole thing. They've always had a somewhat of a, combined effort. Like they've never just really gone somewhere on their own and rule something. Like they all get together, just like this whole idea with NATO. That's not a new thing. Like that's something that they've been doing for centuries already, and they've been using that. All right, well, you get your military, my military. Like they go in and pretty much kind of neutralize the countries that they're in, and then they'll all right. Well, it's been they decide they'll start splitting it up.
Yeah. So, but and another point I really want to stress, Doctor sent me something. Is that Russia wasn't involved in the chopping up of Africa, and neither was China. And when we talk about the colonization, you know what I'm saying, and it was Europe.
Well, that would have been the time of the Soviet Union, when all that was going on. But even then, like, yeah, you're right, they did not take part in it.
So this thing with this whole idea of this colonization, this creation of slaves, this modern chattel slavery idea, it is like an Eastern European thing. Damn, why am I'm getting echo from one of y'all? Is it me?
No, that's I think box number 3.
Yeah. I figured it out. Yeah, so anyways, damn it, I lost my train of thought. That's why that shit sucks so bad. Help me.
Well, talking about
Damn it.
it distracted me too, but
Well, friends. Whoa.
oh,
Well, Doc sent me something anyway, so let me pull that up. Most spoken languages in the world. Let's pull this up.
what's up, Doc? Doing all right, man?
It says
I
English
hear
is
you.
number 1 and Mandarin is number 2. Okay, hold on. Let me pull this up so y'all can see it.
Aha!
The guy from Coming to America.
Yeah, aha!
Oh shit! Did I touch the wrong? I picked the wrong one. Hold on. My bad, y'all. Give me 1 second. Here it is, right here. Okay, this is as according to Berlitz website. Most spoken languages in the world, September 2nd, 2021. English, number 1. 1.1 million speakers. And then Mandarin at number 2, 1.1. Look at the difference. It's only like, what is that, 15 million? Somewhere up in there. I wonder about those numbers. It says native speakers 379, non-native speakers 753. Wow. So that's a thing. That's something with English. So what the hell do they mean by that? And so look, and the Mandarin is the other way around. Native speakers is at 918 million, and non-native speakers is 199 million. So the ratio is the opposite way. So in English, it says non-native speakers are 753 million, and native speakers are 379 million. That's interesting. So it says Hindu is number 3, and then you got Spanish number 4. French is number 5. Look at that. Look how high that is on the list. OMG. Yeah. I knew it was going to be there. There goes Arabic at number 6. I thought Arabic was higher on the list. Bengali, Russian at number 8. Portuguese at number 9. Why is Russian so high? Oh, it's a lot of freaking people in Russia. I keep forgetting about that. It's a big ass damn. It's a big span of land. Portuguese at number 9. Indonesia at 10. Indonesia is pretty amazing because isn't that a smaller area too?
It's an island, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't think it's very big at all.
Arabic at number 6. French at number 5. So that's what I wanted to focus on. Why the hell? So then it says native speakers is at 77 million. Non-native speakers at 203 million. So what I think that is a measure of is how much they colonized. Do you get what I mean? Because if they're going to say non-native speakers, whatever the hell that means, you know what I'm saying? I guess these are people outside of France. I'm just guessing on that. And with the English, it says 379 million are native speakers, and then 753 million are non-native speakers. So again, colonization.
Yeah. I mean, but I guess still trying to figure out, how's it? Because I mean, technically, we can't say that they're still colonizing. I guess maybe they really are, or at least the maintenance of, of the colonization. But
Doc says native grew up speaking, non-native ESL. Sideways jokes. Remember, Canada has French as one of its official languages, and lots of Vietnam areas have French-speaking people. And why that is? I'm sure that was as a result of war. blood getting spilled.
Yeah. And it's not gonna stop until
I want people to understand how we got here. So we have to understand what happened before.
Hello.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say good night, gentlemen. It was nice listening to y'all.
All right. Thank you for your
you have a good
time.
night.
All right, love y'all.
Love you too.
All right, love you
Talk to
too.
you later.
Good night. Good night.
Bye. Bye. Oh yeah, let's get to this. Oh shoot. Let's get to this. Let me play a bit of this. This is hard to watch and it's kind of long, so I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. I might just skip through it or whatever. And it's pretty damn depressing too, so but I think it's important. I'm gonna play a bit and we'll just I think we'll watch it in bits. You know what? Let's read the comments first. Let's read the comments first.
Let's do that.
That's a good idea. That way we can I like that better because people get an idea. It's funny. Look, underneath the video, it has one of those context tags. You know how whenever you make a video about something, maybe they don't approve of or whatever, or maybe you shouldn't be talking about it or whatever. They always put these kind of little tags underneath. This one has a tag to Encyclopedia Britannica on what the Holocaust was. So, and then underneath it says context. So this is like, this person who made this video didn't put this here. YouTube put this on here and it says context. So it's basically trying to give you context, you know what I mean, related to this video. So, and it says Holocaust, Hebrew Shoah, Yiddish and Hebrew urban destruction. The systematic state-sponsored killing of 6 million Jewish men, women, and children, and millions of others by Nazi Germany and its collaborators during World War II. The Germans called this the final solution to Jewish question. The word Holocaust is derived from the blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to read the rest of that because it's really kind of pointless because they're trying to tell you that the Holocaust, that's the thing about when we say the Holocaust, and then it's like, it just says Holocaust. And then it's like saying this is the definition of Holocaust is when the Nazis exterminated the Jews. But that's not true because that's not necessarily the definition that's not really the definition of that word.
Mm-mm.
That's a specific event that happened that people refer to when they say the Holocaust, but that's just referring to a specific event, but that's not the definition of that word. So already off top, that's kind of misleading or whatever. I'm gonna read some comments. This was a pinned comment, so I guess the people who made this video liked it. Let me read it. It says, "Hi, Paul Woodage, WW2 TV host here. If you have enjoyed the show, please forget blah blah blah." That's no wonder it was pinned. Okay, next comment. It says, "Thank you, Dr. Millington and Paul, for the care and respect you employ to present this breathtaking overview of these tragic events, offering up children less than 16 years old to compensate for shielding French Jews is the epitome of evil thinking and action. A cold calculation made to diminish the impact of these crimes on French public opinion. Remarkable that the French police were more efficient than the Nazis. Leave your children or take them with you. The more I learn about hold on, there's more to this. Vichy and French role, the more disturbed I become. This is not a collaboration. It is complicity. Interesting that Rademacher's and Eichmann's Madagascar plan was entertained by the French. At least it has now been officially acknowledged. I can't help but to reflect on the chilling opening scene in Inglourious Bastards depicting Standartfurther Hans Landa interrogating Pierre Lapadite, the French farmer sheltering a Jewish family. Wow, that's fucking powerful ass comment. That movie is fucking powerful, even though it's kind of funny how what's his name, the producer? I can't think of his name right now. The way he does his stuff, it's always kind of comical. But that freaking movie was talking about some serious ass shit. And then that scene that this guy is talking about was an intense ass scene. That movie starts off intense as fuck. If you haven't seen it, I'm not gonna spoil it. Am I missing Doc's comments? Let me see. He says it's the definition of the Holocaust, not the actual word, not misleading at all. Well, because look at what it's saying. It says, if I go back up, look, it doesn't say the Holocaust right here. I highlight this. It doesn't. Oh, shit. Now we went to the whole thing. Well, it popped up. Let's go to it. Because that's the whole thing anyway. So let me show it. It popped up the Wikipedia or whatever the hell that was. Hold on, let me see. See, look. Oh, the fucking ad. Get out of here. Okay, look. It says Holocaust. It doesn't say the Holocaust. And then it says underneath that, it says European history. You've already lost me. I'm already done reading. You get what I'm saying? I'm so sorry. But yeah, look, it says Holocaust. It doesn't say the Holocaust, it says Holocaust. And underneath that it says European history. This is
Holocaust, proper noun, not general noun.
Still, that's beside the point of the definition of the word is
Actually, no, it's not. Capitalization of the word means it is a specific word, not just the beginning of a sentence, because you would capitalize it anywhere. It is a proper noun. It is naming something.
I get that argument, but that's
Come on, man, Mr. Scholar, Mr. I've studied English.
You sound like one of my damn. And I used to bump heads with my and really my grammar sucks. That's why I'm having such a hard time with Spanish. But I used to bump heads with my English teacher. But still, I mean, you're using a proper. That's a wiggle. I'm calling that a wiggle.
You're using the difference in capitalization to dismiss an entire amount of data without accepting the fact that the data is about an event. Capital H, proper noun, not the general term Holocaust.
Well, why is it popping up as Holocaust? It should be the Holocaust, or like this was a specific event. And it's not even explaining how the word means really just killing people or whatever. And it probably gets to it somewhere in this article, but it doesn't say that up here. It just starts off with Holocaust, Hebrew. State-sponsored of 6 million Jewish men and women and children, millions of other by Nazi Germany and its collaborators during World War II. The Germans called it the final solution, the Jewish question, Yiddish-speaking Jews and survivors in the years. And then it goes on. I think it gave that fake number too in here. Like, I'm not going to say this is like pure propaganda, but this is an example of how they, bend things. This is bent. And I'm putting you out of sleep. I want to go into this roundup thing, and that's probably gonna really put you to sleep. But we have to do it. I want to read a couple more comments before I play the video. So it says, yet again, we have a great informative program from WW2 TV. A brilliant presentation by Dr. Chris Minnington on the history of the Holocaust in France, the cooperation of Vichy France, and the impact of pre-war anti-Semitism, the brutality of the imprisonment, but vitally never losing that connection to the fact that tens of thousands were sent to their deaths. Brilliant and very informative, yes, but my God, chilling and sickening too. Thanks to Chris for outstanding presentation, and to Paul W2 and another fantastic history lesson. Because they don't teach this in school. I didn't know about this. I had to look this up myself. I'm going to read some more. It says, really interesting stuff. Makes you wonder about the reintegration of persecuted communities after Second World War. Another excellent presentation that challenges a great many perceived notions on the Holocaust in Western Europe, with particular focus on France. Much more study is required into the role of the French between 1940 and 1944. It says, a brilliant, nuanced presentation of a grim but very important topic. Very informative presentation showing life is not black or white. Because it's not simple. And who's the good guy and who's the bad guy and all of this. And they're going to explain why France did this. And you know, to protect themselves in a way. So who knows what would have happened if France had not have done this. You know, Germany was really powerful at this time and they were sitting right there. So, and they were stepping on people who didn't do what they wanted. So, you know, that's a little bit of in France's defense. Let me play some of this.
Well, hello again, folks. Welcome back to World War II TV and the first of 7 programs tackling the Holocaust, which I have to say, I said this on Twitter earlier today, is a subject I've been looking forward to covering because I think you can never talk about it, you know, too much. But at the same time, a little bit nervous about the tone, getting the tone right, because I'm kind of comfortable talking about battles and the events of Normandy 1944, but the Holocaust, so emotive, so much tragedy. And of course, I was just talking to our guest, there's still elements of it that are current affairs because anti-Semitism is still in the place, persecution is still, it exists around the world. So you're tackling a subject that was from the past that has a huge bearing on the world we live in today. So
that's the reason why I'm covering this. Some of the stuff we see, the anti-Semitism, some of the like rhetoric that we hear coming out of the United States, some of the rhetoric we hear coming out of the UK. Man, the UK is talking a lot of shit. I'm gonna come back to that. But you know, this stuff has long, deep roots, you know, and to understand how we got where we are today, you have to look at this stuff and acknowledge the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? Because this stuff is still present in these same people. This stuff can easily happen again. Maybe not, it won't be the same people. The Jews have set things up so where they own that never again shit for real. So it most likely it'll be a different group. But things are setting up where this can happen again, like almost exactly the same.
It's something that I'm glad we're tackling it, but I'm hoping I'm going to get the tone correct this week. So anyway, our first show is tackling the Holocaust within France, because the European countries that were affected by the Third Reich, some were occupied, some were annexed. There's different systems. Some countries did more or less.
Wait, let me correct that. What I mean to say is this is also happening right now in different places of the world. Do you know what I'm saying? For the same like reasons and for the same goals, and you know what I'm saying? The same narrative.
Look after the Jewish population. Some countries had more of a Jewish population than others. So the experience across Europe was very different. Poland, France, Denmark, very different stuff. But we're tackling France. And my guest today is Dr. Chris Millington, who you hopefully will remember from the show not that long ago, a few weeks ago, about the occupation in France, which is very interesting, talking about Vichy government, and people were perhaps not aware of exactly how the French country was organized in World War II. So that was sort of a very good show to explain that. But now we're looking at how France, the Holocaust swept through France in a particular unique way to France. So without further ado, I'll introduce Dr. Chris Millington. So good evening, Chris. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks. Thanks for having me on again.
And yeah, well, thank you for being here. And you know, you teach history, you tackle the Holocaust within your classroom. So, you know, in your career, you're not particularly old, but you've been teaching for a little while. Has the way you've taught the Holocaust changed over the years? Is there a different way of looking at it in 2021 than when you started, or are things more or less the same?
Yeah, I think it has changed to the extent that now we look at, in my own field of French history, we look at Vichy's persecution of groups other than Jews. So, of course, it's important to look at the persecution of the Jews, which we'll talk about today. But also, we have to remember that Vichy persecuted gypsies as well, and non-whites too, and there were certain rules regarding homosexuality in France. So I think that there is more of a focus on the Holocaust these days because the French government has admitted responsibility in the Holocaust. But also I like to teach perhaps neglected aspects of it too.
Well, that's that one of the things that perhaps the people who don't have as much familiarization with the French history as they do perhaps US or British is that in 1995, as we know now, President Mitterrand did accept responsibility for the roundups in 1942, and there was a real kind of public acknowledgement, and some of the French leaders and politicians visited sites, and it was opened up. And it's not that they've been kind of covering it up as such, but just it hadn't been talked about openly for a long time in certain circles, and then it became public again. And now, the French famously a few years ago made that movie with Jean Reno, Le Rafle, about the roundup in Paris, and it did very well, did business in France that perhaps that movie coming out 30 years ago wouldn't have done as well. The environment was correct for it to come out, and it was well received, and we'll be discussing, I guess, some of those themes later on. So as always, Chris has come prepared with his own PowerPoint, so he's controlling it all today. So I can just sit back and ask questions. And folks, please, if you've got questions for Chris or for me, please jump in. But we'll hand over to Chris to get things going.
But we tend to think that the victims of the Holocaust were Polish Jews, Russian Jews, and other Eastern European nationalities. We don't tend to think of Parisian Jews dying in Auschwitz or Jews from Marseille. Yeah, they certainly did. And what I'm going to show you first of all on the screen, it's an image that I think helps to illustrate some of the main features of France's experience with the Holocaust. So it's this one. So this is the the so-called Wall of Names, which is at the Holocaust Memorial Museum in Paris. And it takes the form of several huge slabs of stone, and on this stone is engraved the names of roughly 76,000 Jews who were deported from France during the war, and the years in which they were born. So it doesn't just list the Jews who died. So 2,500 of the names on the memorial are of people who survived and came back. But I really like this memorial because I think it's so effective in showing the overwhelming scale of what happened in France. It's overwhelming because you can see how large the stones are. You feel like they tower over you when you're there. And so you can see on the image how big they are. But it's overwhelming because of the sheer number of names as well. And when you realize that this is 80,000 or 70 or so thousand, sorry, out of 6 million, and yet there are still so many names there. The fact that the memorial contains the years of birth of the deportees, you can pick out the children on the memorial because there were 11,000 children deported from France, and some of the names and the years on there demonstrate that these children, you could count their age in months, not years. And there are many plaques around Paris, particularly in this area of the Holocaust Museum, because this is situated in what was traditionally the Jewish quarter of Paris. And in this Jewish quarter, there are plaques on schools to commemorate the pupils who were taken from these schools. So this is a typical one. It uses a typical language of these plaques.
Let me pause it a bit because these guys are dry. But the roundup was it was done by the French police, and they rounded up Jewish people and sent them off to their death, basically. So that's what the roundup is. Just to explain that. And I'm gonna skip through this.
It mentions pupil regime allowed more immigrants to be taken. names on the memorial, we can see that many of them are what we might say are not French names, or they're not Gallicized names. So approximately 2/3 of the Jews deported from France were not French. They were immigrants of recent arrival in France. And that's because the French regime that governed France, so this Vichy regime, allowed more immigrants to be taken. It wanted to get rid of these immigrant Jews. And it to some extent sheltered native-born Jews, the Jews who'd been in France for generations, from deportation.
So this should sound familiar to y'all, and that's the reason why, like I be saying, that the whole rhetoric around immigration gets me going, because I start hearing this stuff right here in my head. Because like they were, they were like, Germany was like, you got to give us like, I don't know, 60,000 Jews over there, and because that's what we want, and France was like, okay, and so okay, well, we're gonna give it to them, but we're gonna make sure most of them are not native-born Jews. We're gonna pick the immigrant Jews first, send them first. Didn't want them here anyways.
Not because it liked them, but because it thought that if French people were deported, that would cause too much of a storm from public opinion. Because we have to remember that dictatorships are concerned about public opinion as well. So it had no love for these Jews. The fact that these immigrants were deported also highlights the fact that during the 1930s, France was seen as a country of asylum. It was where refugees fled from the persecution in Germany and Eastern Europe. And yet they're ultimately caught. The second point we can make about the memorial is that it doesn't list roughly 4,000 Jews who died in France. So there were 1,200 who were murdered by the Germans through executions, but 3,000 others died in French internment camps. So these weren't extermination camps. I'd like to stress that they were holding camps, really, or like prison camps. But the conditions in them were so poor that thousands died from cold and disease and malnutrition.
So, and I was never taught about this. 3,000 dead in French camps. So you could call them concentration camps, like the ones they called in Germany. You know what I'm saying? Just starving the people out, killing them slowly. Right there in France, by French people, not by Germans.
And so that makes the overall total number of victims from France in the Holocaust at roughly 80,000, Jews. Now, one of the most interesting parts or points to do with this wall of names is that these 75,000 or so that were deported and murdered, these were only actually a quarter of Jews in France. So 3/4 of Jews survived. So that's a really important point that I think we have to make when we're concentrating on all the terrible things that the French did. 3/4 of Jews survived, and only in Denmark and Italy did more Jews survive. And if we look at somewhere like the Netherlands, 3/4 of Jews were murdered in the Netherlands for reasons which I'll discuss later. So we have this high proportion of survival in France. And there's at this Holocaust Museum, there's a really interesting contrast between this wall of names and what's actually directly outside the museum. And it's another wall of names. It's the wall that lists the names of people who rescued Jews. So this wall of the righteous. So there's about 4,000 French have received this honor. So this is an honor, the righteous among nations, given by the
And it's really nice because here in the United States, there was a large amount of people who didn't really fuck with slavery when slavery was going on. That's ultimately what led to the Civil War. But at the same time, this guy in this video, he tends to he's got the kid gloves on for France, even though this information I don't see hardly anywhere, but he's still giving it in a really soft kind of way, like, I'm not trying to make France look bad. I'm really like, France is really, they really are what they say they are. This is just, it's kind of like the bad apple argument with the police.
Hashem World Holocaust Remembrance Center in Israel, and it's given to people who risked their lives to save Jewish people during the war. And only Poland and the Netherlands have more representatives amongst the righteous than France. And so the reason I want to start with this is because it's a really interesting kind of seeming contradiction. Because there are two questions it raises. Why did so many Jews in France die? And why did so many survive? And so they're kind of the two things that I'd like to try. The fact that this actually happened in the place where you are standing. So people were taken and arrested.
From their homes, literally from their homes where they had businesses and they were living. I like that. And I think to add about the wall as well is they allow, it's not a closed off memorial. They add names periodically as more information comes out and more documentation comes out. They add more names to it, so it's not fixed, it's not finished. It's a growing and it's enlarging monument. And I like the fact that when you go there as a visitor, they're encouraging to go look into, if you're French, of course, looking into your ancestry, looking the visitor that's 70.
What some people have been demanding for years. Next, I'll look at actually, we're all about context. So what I'd like to do is just explain a bit about where this anti-Semitism in France came from, because it was not imposed by Germany. Something else we must bear in mind, it was not a condition of the German occupation that France pass anti-Semitic laws. And Vichy, the regime that governed France, did have a degree of autonomy despite the constraints it operated under. And so its policy towards Jews drew on a longer term history of anti-Semitism. And it was implemented by people.
I hate that term anti-Semitism because I get confused every time you say it. So, but what he means is like it was a hate for Jewish people, Ashkenazi Jews, a hate for Jewish people, in France that had nothing to do with Germany, nothing to do with that. They already had it. You was gonna say something, Pat? Sound like somebody was gonna say something. All right, I'm gonna keep going.
Including Marshal Pétain, the leader of the government, who thought that this was an opportune moment to put into practice what some people had been demanding for years. Next, I'll look at actually what happened in France to do with anti-Semitism and the Holocaust. We need to bear in mind, and I'll stress this, that Vichy did not seek to exterminate the Jews. Vichy was more interested in relegating them to second-class citizens, to discrimination. So it was an anti-Semitic regime, but it was not about extermination.
So there he goes again, softening it up. And then that. The reason why I'm covering this is because all of this should sound really familiar to you. Especially if you live in the United States, but if you live in any post-colonial place, around the world, this should sound familiar to you. And then he was like, the government just wanted to treat these people like others. They didn't want to exterminate them like the Germans did. They just they just wanted to marginalize them. That's all. Make them feel lesser and lower class, and don't give them the same amount of rights and stuff like that, privileges and stuff. Don't let them own property and shit like that. Shit like that. So sound like Jim Crow.
I think we can say. But after 1942, when the Holocaust and this final solution is implemented to its greatest extent, Vichy gets sucked into this project. And lastly, I look at survival. This issue of how did so many survive? What explanations might historians offer to explain this survival? I'd like to stress that this is going to sound very harsh on the French, but we need to distinguish between the government and the police on one hand and the population on the other. And it's even then, it's not so simple as deciding who was guilty and who was innocent, because for all the French police who arrested Jews, there were police officers who helped them. And for all the ordinary French citizens who hid Jews, there were others who just turned a blind eye to it all. So there aren't any simple answers.
There he goes again with that soften it up. And then that whole thing with, he said, you know, it was people who hated the Jews, but then it was people who turned a blind eye. So, but look, this is my argument all the time. Like, turning a blind eye don't make you innocent. If you see this horrible thing, like, let's say somebody committed like a horrible ass crime right in front of you, not some stealing out the store shit, because I think that's dumb as hell how people chase after people leaving out of Walmart with some groceries and some steaks and shit. Like, they hungry, bro. Let them go. Walmart gonna be fine. You know what I'm saying? What does it got to do with your check? It's not gonna affect your pocket. They be talking about that's your bonus. That's your bonus. Bullshit. They got a budget for all that shit. So fuck that. No, I'm talking about like some horrible ass shit somebody does right in front of you, and you have the ability to intervene, and it's happening right in front of you. Maybe it doesn't, maybe you don't have nothing to do with it. You don't know none of these people or nothing, but you can see what's happening. Like, you're aware, you're very aware of what's happening, and you're also aware that it's wrong and it's all fucked up, and you can feel it in your stomach, and it's like the universe is pushing you to do something. You know what I'm saying? In that situation, you're wrong for not intervening. Now, I'll say this. In domestic types of situations, when it's something between a husband and a wife, a brother or sister, father, daughter, you know what I'm saying? Brother, sister, that type of thing. Those type of situations are domestic, and I don't, you know, only in extreme circumstances do I recommend. That's how you get killed, is by getting involved in stuff like that. But what I mean is like random ass acts of people doing fucked up shit when you and it happening right in front of you, and you have the ability to do something about it. You there, Pat?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you always strapped. So something happens right in front of you. Somebody is, this big old dude is trying to rob and rape this little chick or something, and it's happening right in front of you, and maybe there's nobody else around that's witnessing it but you. You know, what's your move?
Now, somebody's attacking somebody that is close to me, or just a stranger, or
It's a stranger, but you're witnessing it, and you know you're there, and you see it happening, and you can see that it's just a fucked up situation.
I mean, I'd like to say, because you know, I've never been in a situation like that before. I don't know, you know, might run and get scared. Nah, but no, but honestly, I mean, I would like to say that I would be, you know, do everything I can to, you know, to help that other person. I mean, you just, and like I said, I'd like to say, because you know, that's a tough position. Like, you really don't know what you're gonna do until that time comes.
Right.
But overall, I like to say I would help that person.
Yeah, I think that you're being 100 when you say that, because I'm, you know, I'd have to say the same thing, because who knows how I'm feeling that day. I might just be like, bruh, I don't feel like it today. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm on my way to work, or something's going on. I got to pick my kids up from school. I got something going on. I'm on my way to class. You know what I'm saying? I got shit going on in my life. But, you know, yeah. So, but I think that naturally, you're gonna automatically feel compelled, you know, to do something about it. And the worst of us thrives off the best of us not doing anything, because that's what gives them their power. That's what allowed them to do all this shit that they did. Because the in this video they're going to explain how, like, France had like a totalitarian type of government at the time. It wasn't democratic at all, but they were still very concerned about political, the opinion of the people. You know what I'm saying? So if the people had to push back on this hard enough, they could have stopped this whole thing from happening. So that's why I stopped it right here. He said those who turned a blind eye, they're innocent or whatever. But no, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. You see the yellow vest protests in France. They have power and they can come together and make their government not do shit. But the majority of the people were okay with them doing that to the Jews. That's the reason why. Let me read the comments. Damn it, how behind am I? My bad, Doc. He says, and get shot for it. Not like we protest today with rubber bullets, but shot in the head. You're right. There's there is definitely that dimension. And that can't be understated. Like, the person turning the blind eye, being concerned about their own ass, that is a fair argument. But I'm just saying, we got to stand up for each other, or they're going to do it to all of us. And if the French people would have came together and protested that shit properly, they could have stopped them from doing that shit. He says, preach all you want, but it was so different world back then and different country. France under Germany, the rules were different. See, you wiggling around and giving them excuses, just like this guy in this video. He says, today we might step up, then we get shot on the roadside or thrown in with them as a dissident. And that's what they're doing to people. They're killing journalists like crazy. And look what they're doing to Julian Assange. It's happening right now. And then we be talking about Hillary Clinton and people getting suicided. It's happening.
Yeah.
He says, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, I mean, yeah, it's actually, I mean, what he's saying is true, but I mean, it's dangerous and all this and that, but at the same time, I mean, you have to also think about, what if it was you? What if it was you in the other situation? Would you want them to haul ass or to help? You know what I'm saying? You can't just be totally selfish.
All the time. I lost you. Doc says, but also remember, the French resistance not only were bad ass Nazi killers, but they helped thousands of Jews to escape. Yeah, and they mentioned that in this video. Yeah, but the point of this subject is, the French police were the ones that rounded these people up. And also, they did a more efficient job than the Nazis could have ever done. So that softening this up. Hold on, he says I'm not wiggling shit. Softening it up and wiggling around it doesn't take away from the fact that they did this thing and these people died. And if the French people would have dealt with this situation differently, I'm sure a lot less people would have died. But they didn't have sympathy for these people. They already didn't like them. They were immigrants. They weren't like us. They were Jewish. They didn't have the same religion as us. They're others. Fuck it. They're not going to come for me. They only want them. I fit in. That's the reason why we have these pressures that everybody wants to fit in. People always want to fit in because they're scared of being ostracized. And it's like that in all these societies around the world, especially these post-colonial ones, which I don't even believe in this post-colonial term. You know what I'm saying? And then let me read the comments. Doc says, you are measuring people in the past by standards we live under today. That's a fair argument. He says it's a disingenuous argument. It's fair for you to say that. I'm looking at it from present day, and that is an argument. That is a thing that I say all the time too. That we have to try to, not look at what happened in the past through present day eyes, as far as the way we think and shit, because those people didn't think the same way. So that's fair. I'll give you that. But those people died. It didn't matter if that's now or back then, and how people thought now or how people thought back then. It's still fucked up. Super fucked up. There were others. There were immigrants. These people were totally okay with these people being exterminated. Not only were they okay with them being exterminated, but they helped. Not only did they help, but they did it themselves without the help of the Germans. More efficiently than the Germans. What were you saying, Pat, before you dropped off?
I mean, we can't just be selfish about, I mean, when it comes to, you wouldn't want that, those type of things, something like that to happen to you. Somebody just sit there and watch you get, taken advantage of for whatever way that they might. So, I mean, and I mean, I agree that it was like a scary situation. Would like to stay. I mean, you just really don't know what you're gonna do until that comes.
Yeah, you're breaking up. But I heard what you were saying, though. You don't know what you're gonna do unless you're in that situation and all that, and so like, yeah. And then the same thing with in Doc's argument. Like, I don't know what I would do if I was in Germany or France in 1941 or 42 or 43, and you know what I'm saying. They was like, and let's say I speak French, and I'm and I've been living in France, so I'm not considered an immigrant. So who knows? I probably would keep my head down too, so I don't get my top knocked off. So I'm not trying to point fingers or say good and evil or whatever. My point is to understand what happened so we can understand where we are today. And this is a thing that France is embarrassed about and being brushing under the rug and not wanting to come out, and they don't teach you about this stuff in school. But there's a reason, though. But then this helps you understand these, like I'm saying, these sentiments. Just like when y'all be talking about the immigration and I get all emotional. I get all emotional because I start thinking about this shit right here, because it's the same rhetoric. He says, you continually judge entire countries and groups by their worst moments. Your measurement of every country, government, and corporations, the world is bad. Well, except Putin. He has an excuse. That's not fair, Doc, because that's not really how I come across. I don't think so. I mean, if I do come across that way, I hope not. Because, and really, I'm not saying every country is bad. Really, I'm kind of focused on these European countries. If you want to be specific. The Eastern European countries. Yeah. We are excluding Russia. So, but there's no good guys or bad guys. We talk about this all the time. I'm talking about what happened, what actually really happened, and what were the motivations for these things. You know what I'm saying? And how these things can happen again because of these same motivations. That's what we have to face.
Well, we have this. There is a good guy. There is a good guy and a bad guy, or good guys and bad guys. There's some that chose not to, I'm sure they had the option to be a part of that whole massacre or that tirade throughout the world, but chose not to be a part of any of that. But like I was saying earlier, like they don't, like Europe. These European countries, they never go in alone. Like they always, kind of piggyback each other, go and do, raid, and they come out with they come out with the booty. The gold, the silver, the cash, whatever, whatever valuables they can get from those raids. Split it up amongst each other, or you know, however they felt like they was gonna, you know, spin it. But I mean, this is something that's been happening for what, shit, 400 years, 500 years.
And that's why I'm talking about it, because this explains the power that these countries have and the wealth that they have. And it wasn't done with through nice things. You know what I'm saying? So we got to recognize that shit and reckon with it.
Yeah.
You made me think of a line from SpongeBob that had me rolling when I saw it. Mr. Krabs was like, some dude had robbed him and it robbed his votes, and Mr. Krabs was like, he took my booty. And I was like, oh my God, bro. SpongeBob is on another level, bro. I was dying laughing. Like, the joke was double. Like, and then it's like, this is not a kid's show, because these kids wouldn't possibly get these jokes. Doc's comments, he says, you continually judge entire countries and groups by their worst moments, and your measurement, every country, government, and corporation in the world is bad, well, except Putin. I don't think so. And like I say, I'm not talking about good and bad. I'm talking about what has happened and what leads to now. Because there's these sentiments, like Jewish, like as powerful as the Jewish people are here in the United States, there's an anti-Jewish sentiment that freaking bubbles and simmers throughout the United States. It's there, right? Underneath the surface. You know what I'm saying? Like a little dragon under the rug that's just waiting for its chance to poke out. If the sentiments were to change here in the United States, that dragon would pop his head out and blow fire all over the place.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And if they was like, okay, let's hurt up the Jews, these people would be on board with that. Let me read more comments. He says, kind of like the brothers hitting the club, go in, have some fun with the natives, get some booty, and take off. OMG, they colonized the clubs. This dude here is, trust me, I have dated more Jewish women than most. Yeah, man, but one thing I do kind of want to, that's an ugly thing, but that is kind of true. Like when you talk about gypsies a bit, and I want to be careful when we talk about this, because this is really sensitive. And even the term gypsies is really kind of a derogatory term. But the idea of gypsies, right? There's a connection to that with Jews. And there's also like this idea of how, like, you know, where the hell are the gypsies from? And like getting kicked out of every country that they go to or whatever. You know what I'm saying? People talk about them the worst out of everybody. You know what I'm saying? No matter what country they go to. Do you get what I'm saying? And people already have a preconceived prejudice for what they would consider as a gypsy. And then they also have this preconceived identity of what a gypsy would look like or talk and act like or whatever. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's a thing. So like this separate from Jews, but kind of not. But people treat them differently. And if like you was in a community, let's say these are gypsies and they know, like I say, nobody knows where they're really from, and it's a whole community of them in your country, and then like some shit happens or whatever, and y'all like, man, we didn't want them here anyways. Like the other country's like, hey, come give us a bunch of those people, bro, because we don't like the people. We want to exterminate some of them because it's just too many of them. You know what I'm saying? And they're trash people. So then whatever country it is, the country is like, shit, we didn't like them over here anyways. Them damn immigrants anyways. They're others anyways. We don't like them either. Go ahead, shit. We'll help you, actually. We'll gather them up for you. You know what I'm saying? He says, gypsies, not gypsies. Explain the difference in that spelling, Doc, because I think I know where you're going, but I'm not going to say I know for sure, but explain that. Let me play a little bit more of this for fear of putting y'all to sleep. But this is a really heavy-ass subject, so it should hopefully...
To this. And I'd also like to warn you, I'm going to show some propaganda pictures that have anti-Semitic depictions in them, just to show you some historical evidence. Okay, so let's look at this longer-term anti-Semitic tradition. Now, there's particularly on the right wing of French politics in the 19th century, there is an anti-Semitic fervor, we could say, embodied in men like Edouard Drumont, this author who wrote this book, which is on the left, Jewish France, which is extremely anti-Semitic. And he had this anti-Semitic daily newspaper, Free Speech, which you can see that on the right of the screen, typical of anti-Semitic depictions of the period. And he is one of many French writers and academics, but also like other Europeans at this time, who helped to formulate and spread ideas about Jews in the 19th century.
Let me read the comments. Damn, I'm getting a bunch of emails. It's blocking my screen. Why is it doing this? Just sending me. Damn it.
No, I'm getting tired. It's already a long day for me.
All right. I know I'm putting you to sleep. Let me read some more comments. Doc says, yeah, it's a long day. I'm kind of tired too. I've been doing a lot of shit. Doc says, but there are many groups, mostly Romani gypsies, Welsh gypsies, Scottish gypsies, travelers, and Irish travelers. Right. And then he says what he says. The Y spelling is the hard R in ninja. Okay, so that's what makes it derogatory. Okay. Yeah, because I've met people who you would call gypsies that speak Spanish, and they are from Mexico. So what's crazy about the people that you would call gypsies is that no matter where they go, they tend to keep their culture. So, but that's another thing that people don't like, right? Because that's what they're going to be complaining about in this video. I'm going to get to it, hopefully. But one of the issues that the French people had, and to this day, this is to this day still, is that these people aren't becoming French enough. They're not French enough. They're not integrating enough. They're not taking on the culture enough. Like today, they're really hard on Muslim people. And a lot of these Muslim people are straight up French. Like they're straight up French, bro. Like their generations of generations been there and they were Muslim this whole time. They straight up French, speak French and everything. But France got a problem with them if they want to wear the burqas or the traditional wear for Muslim women. You know what I'm saying? And this has been in the news on and off always. France gives those Muslims a real hard time. So that's related to this. They were like, they won't integrate properly. They won't take on our culture. They won't put
on the skinny jeans and
walk around naked. Well, because in France it's like that. You can basically walk around naked. It's one of the freest when it comes to that places. And
you can have sex in the park.
So, and a lot of other countries around the world will be appalled at that behavior. You know what I'm saying? Have some modesty. So, and then there goes French being held up as the top of class shit. So then there goes the Rome shit. I was talking to somebody recently about where the word gymnasium and all of that shit comes from, and the wrestling shit, and how they oiled up men, right? They were in the bathhouse, right? They oiled up men and they wrestled naked. After the wrestling match, they would take the hot bath and all have sex with each other. Big orgy. No women involved. They're not allowed to even come in these buildings.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
When in Rome, do as the Romans. Doc says, you caught the hard R ninja right. I'm a white boy. I can't use the A or the version of the replaced word. Yeah, so that's where your privilege stops, buddy. Just joking. Just joking. Yeah, so that's what makes it. I didn't know that. So wait. So the one with the Y, hold on, let me go back so I can know this. It's gypsies, not gypsies. So gypsies, not gypsies. And so that's what makes it. I knew it was a derogatory term. I knew that. It's like nigga or nigger, even. Doc says skinny jeans ad should say getting into her pants. You're doing it wrong. So yeah, but my point is this rhetoric, right? And that's why I'm covering this shit. That same rhetoric of, they won't assimilate. That's what they were saying back then. Okay, so Doc, being that you're saying I'm not being fair, but this is the exact same rhetoric right here. They won't assimilate, they won't adapt, they won't, they're too much not us, there's too much not French. They won't, so might as well freaking just exterminate their ass.
Kill them off with their head.
The spelling is considered derogatory, though it makes no difference anymore. They're allowed to be offended now. Yeah, so I mean, I don't want to be mean about that, but it is like a group of people that seems like no matter what country they go to, the people just don't. And then it seems like they don't have no home country too. It's like, where are they originally from? Can you tell me that, Doc? Where, like, you said in your list Welsh, you said and a lot of people be talking about Romania. But I don't think that's what it is, where they're originally from, because I believe they migrated into Romania. He said mostly Romanian, Welsh, Scottish, Irish. Shit, that's everything, Doc. And like I say, I've met Mexican gypsies. I've met African gypsies. He says, by the etymology of the Romani language in North India. Okay. All right, Pat. If you wanna dip out, it's all good, man. I'm probably gonna start playing this video.
Well, yeah, I'm up for a few more minutes. I gotta wash this fruit because my doctor done put me on. I gotta eat at least 60%. Like 60% of my food has to be fruit.
Man, I need to start. I've been eating fried chicken and shit a lot, and I need to stop it. Did I tell you that I ran in the park yesterday? My legs are sore. I jogged further than I had in
ever
a long time. I was gonna say years. I don't know how long it's been. I thought I was gonna have an asthma attack and die. I ain't gonna lie. Because I was jogging uphill too. I literally thought I was gonna die. It took me like 30 minutes to catch my breath. I was hawking up all this mucus. My lungs had opened up in a way that it hadn't in a long ass time. You know how you can feel it? Like how your lungs open up and your chest is wider. Like you can feel it. Yeah. Like different parts of my lungs I was using that I hadn't used in a long time.
And you smoke.
And I smoked. That's the reason why that mucus was coming up. Because I smoke. And that's what I was saying. Yeah. Yeah, that's fucked up. Damn it. What was I gonna say? Fucking yeah, bro. And I've been going to the doctor too. And because I've been having some symptoms that I want to figure out what the hell it is. And I'm at the age where I need to be the example I'm trying to set for others and take care of myself so that I have to take care of other people. So that's what I tell myself anyways. So, but they prescribed me some medicines, bro. And I'm so anti-pharmaceuticals, but at the same time, I feel like I need to.
I wish you could go to Dallas. I don't know if there's one of those, a doctor like mine in Houston or not, but a naturopath, and they had like this bioscan machine, and you pretty much hold it. It's like a little piece of like metal or whatever, and you just hold it in your hand, and it pretty much detects pretty much all the negative things in your body, like it can whatever. But like, she's like telling me I gotta do something about my liver because I'm not processing, or like my liver is not detoxing things the way it should be. So
And that could that could be related to your weight too, you know what I'm saying? And how your body processing shit.
Well, she's saying that's a part of why I hadn't been able to lose weight, is because of my liver not processing things the way it should.
Yeah.
So that's why, like I can, like she's pretty much told me no beef, no chicken, no beef, no chicken, no turkey. I can have, like bison, elk, deer.
Stuff that's not so fatty.
Pretty much, I guess you could say that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. Because those ones you named they're going to be more gamey, more tough, and it's going to be real lean muscle. So it's probably those, like, what do you call it? I want to say saturated fats, but that's not the right word.
Well, like cows.
Cholesterol.
Yeah, well, but cows are hybrid. They're not like a natural animal. It was created by.
Yeah.
So it's not like an original animal to the planet. It's like.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying before, bro. Like, our people didn't eat cows, bro. They brought these cows over here. Our ancestors did not eat cows.
Exactly. No, because we had buffalo, bison. You know what I'm saying?
And deer and shit. We did not eat cows. Let me read Doc's comment. He said their language has many similarities to the Hindu language spoken there. And that might be the answer, because that would make a lot of sense. Because I ain't gonna lie, I've been thinking about this a long time. The idea of who gypsies are and where the hell they're really from. I'm an anthropologist / kind of like historian, academic. I like to really look this shit up and actual like approved sources and shit. So somewhere in Asia, now that would make a lot of fucking sense. Some random place in Asia. It could be in the middle of Russia somewhere. That would make a lot of sense. Or even all the way over there to India. From India, like trying to find their origin, like where they actually really came from, where the like culture started or whatever. He says, I was actually reading about gypsy history, especially Romani and other groups in that area, but more in the 1200 to 1600s.
They're talking about niggas. I'm sorry. Black people, melanated.
Sometimes, and that's what's crazy about language and history, because sometimes that be the case, like exactly. And let me read Doc's comment. He says, I'm working on a hard game, and they are part of my research. Interesting stuff, bro. You be looking up random ass shit for your stuff. And that's crazy how the universe aligns us, right? I be bringing up random ass shit, and it randomly be the same shit you're looking up to do your thing. That's the universe in alignment right there.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. I want to play some more of this video.
The fact that they came from a supposedly different race, that they had particular characteristics and mentalities, the idea that they were stateless, they were wandering, and that meant that they could never truly be French. Pretty typical of anti-Semitic prejudice, really, in the 19th century. This all comes to a head in the 1890s with the Dreyfus Affair. So what this was it was the conviction of a French Jewish captain, an army captain, Alfred Dreyfus, and he was convicted for passing intelligence to the Germans. he was deported to Devil's Island, a penal colony of French Guiana. But it turned out that his conviction was actually based on forged evidence. The case divided the country. It was a national crisis. The country was divided between the people who supported Dreyfus and supported justice, and the people who opposed him because they decided that the army couldn't possibly be questioned. He'd been convicted by the French army. There was no questioning the army. You could not challenge the honor of the army.
None of that sound familiar to y'all? That should all sound very, very familiar. Wait, before you go, Pat, I want to ask you, because the name of the show is Helping People Don't Pay. I'm getting texts and shit. Helping people don't pay. What do you think about that? What was the sub fucking topic of that shit? I don't even know.
Well, to me, that sounds very pessimistic because, I mean, you know, when you help people, you shouldn't be looking for a return. You should be trying to just, you know, look out for the fellow man. And, you know, I mean, the universe will pay you back. You know, if you're giving good acts, like just karma will come back around and it's going to pay you a visit one way or another. So if you have the negative mindset, you're going to be attracting negative things to you. Vice versa. If you have the positive mindset, you just do good just for good's sake. You know, that's the type of energy that's going to come back around to you. So I just, you know, I guess, and it's perspective as well. Like, I mean, it just really depends on what you consider pay. You know, what do you consider payback to be? Because, I mean, even in the moment of helping somebody, usually I feel so good that, look, I don't need nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just glad I was able to be there for somebody in a tough time. You know, God is still using me to do his work.
Well, look, I got a friend who is a teacher. She is elementary school, like I think she do preschool kids too, like the little kids, right? And so the thing is, she's been doing this for a long time and going in that direction, but she's starting to think now that she needs to start heading in a different direction, to the point where if someone is talking about going into teaching, she tells them to not do it. Now, let me make the connection. These people who, just like a lot of these social work programs, these people go into teaching because they care and they want to help. They feel like the children are our future. You know what I'm saying? And so, but look, our system don't pay them worth of shit. They are using their own damn money and they're stressed out. They got way too many kids. She works 2 other jobs. You know what I'm saying? So she wants to help, right? To be a teacher and all, but she got to pay her bills. She got to live. She got to provide for her family. So at some point, she's going to have to make a decision. Either I'm going to continue to struggle and help as a teacher, or I'm going to have to leave this industry altogether and just do some other kind of job that pays me. You get what I'm saying? My point is that the system is set up where helping people don't pay. It's set up for you to be punished for even having this gall to try to help people.
You think so?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if it's really that goes that quite that far. I mean, I don't think that you truly get punished for helping people in any sense of it. Because I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily see it to that extent because I mean, I help people. You know what I'm saying? And you know, has it harmed me before? Because okay, like I help out somebody, giving them money and trusting that they're gonna give it back or whatever it's gonna be. Yeah, I've gotten burned a few times, but that was still a learning lesson for me because it's like you don't loan your last bit of money out. You know what I'm saying? You don't
Yeah, but you're
expect.
looking at this. You're
Well,
looking at
you
this
said,
through individual type of way. I'm talking about
well,
society in general. And look at the social workers. And one time you made a comment before, and a lot of people have this attitude, and it's not that it's wrong, but like when you go into school, you're supposed to go to school for something that's going to make you some money. The jobs that's going to make you some money is going to be jobs that's not helping people. Okay, for the most part, people that go into like community service, they want to help with women that's getting battered. They want to help with children who are in foster care or being abused, or they want to help with drug addicts, or they want to advocate for criminals who are being mistreated in the criminal justice system.
well,
Anything's like that, you're not finna make no fucking money. And if you're going to college for that type of thing, everybody's gonna be like, why are you going to college for that? Because you're not gonna make no money doing that. You should just go do some economics, go do engineering.
well, yeah, no, I mean, I'm gonna tell you, like, if you want to be able to help people, you know, and make money, you got to go into it and start a business with it. Like, you can't just go work for the government because no, they're gonna shit on you. But however, I don't think that just helping people in general is hurting you. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
it
Like,
is hurting you when you like this person who really wants to help battered women or people who are struggling with drugs and depression or people that are struggling with mental health, and they really want to help, and they can't make enough money to pay their bills. You don't understand the power of a lot of these programs, like a AA simple as AA program, and somebody goes to this program and they really turn their whole fucking life around. This damn program saved their fucking life. You know what I'm saying? And it was a community program, and like you got people that work within these industries who are really making a difference in people's lives. And then they doing this every day. They come to work tomorrow and they freaking save somebody's life. And then the next day they do it again. And they're getting paid $42 a year. Because these government programs aren't all bad. Some of these government programs really do help people.
yeah, no, I'm sure they do. I mean, at least I have assumed that they help people. But I mean, as far as that goes, I mean, we know what kind of money it gives. I mean, you're not. I mean, we all know that you're not gonna get rich on that kind of kind of job, and it has to be within your heart in order to want to do that.
But look,
So
my point is why? Why is it that case? Why are football coaches paid more than like almost anybody?
because people have value in they football team. People love their football team. They don't give us like I mean it just, I mean it's the alumni. It's not really even the school though. Like I mean the school a lot of times it's the people who used to go to school there that's like shoot they whooped our ass when I was there. Shoot, I can make a difference. We're gonna get a better coach. We're gonna what I'm saying? Like it's not just like the school digging in their pockets. It's a lot of times the alumni
Yeah.
that's making sure that these
And a lot of these the big universities, that's the reason why one of the reasons why they have so much money is because of that. The alumni pour money into these universities. But what's been coming up in the news Harvard's been in the news recently talking about its
racism.
Did I send you a video on that?
I don't know. Did you send me that? Because
I don't even know, bro. Like I said, I get so
I watched.
lost.
I know. I watched the video today. I don't know if it was just because you probably did.
Yeah, I think I sent that video. They was talking about Harvard and its direct connections to slavery and direct benefits from slavery that it still has to this day.
Yep.
That it doesn't reconcile for and won't even admit to. Damn, how did we get on that? Let me read Doc's comment. He says, "I have
social help and."
Oh yeah, because that's what I mean. Like, why is the system set up in a way that if you, that's what I mean by you get punished for really wanting to help people. Because if you just want to make money, do this. If you want to help people, do this. You can't make money and help people. You can't, you know what I'm saying? And then on this side, you can't help people and make money. Be a
doctor, be a lawyer. You can help people.
I guess a bit, but you get my point. The system is set up, it wants you to go into engineering. The school wants you to take engineering. At my university, the best, nicest buildings are those engineering buildings, the math buildings and shit. Everything is driving you in that direction. Be a business person. Be a landlord, like we was talking about yesterday. Basically exploit the others. He says, I have a doctorate in divinity and associates in education and speech communication. I make more money as a server unless I started my own church. Man, if I ever start a church, just know I done crossed over to the dark side. He says, because they generate income for the college. You talking about the alumni? Yeah,
the sports teams.
Oh, the sports teams. Yeah, well, still, I don't give a fuck. Why do we pay? This shows that's a glaring example of what our priorities are here in the United States. You can try to justify it however the fuck you want and say, like, where's the money come, whatever, till you're blue in the face. But this is an example of what we prioritize, because we pay what we prioritize, what we care about. We don't care about the social workers, but we do care about the damn college and NFL coaches, because we want our team to win. Like you said, we want our team to win. We care more about our team to winning than them damn homeless people and battered women and orphan children.
Yeah.
That's where our priorities are. That's why in the United States, ESPN is the #1 watch network, and just about every other country in the world, it's some kind of news station that's the #1 watch network. Because in the States, we don't want to pay attention to what's actually happening. We want to be distracted. We just want to, watch HBO's latest show and go to the football game and then go to the basketball game and then go to work and tell our coworkers about how we went to the basketball game and the football game. And then we want to go on vacation and then come back and tell our coworkers what we did on vacation. And this is our fucking life. I'm happy, and I take pictures and I do Instagram and Snapchats to make it look like I'm so happy and I have so much abundance and I'm so rich.
Who you talking about?
What you talking about, Willis? I know you're not talking about me.
No, it sounds like you might have been talking about somebody specifically.
I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I do that. I'm not gonna ever reveal that if that's true. I ain't gonna never reveal that. Ain't no telling who the hell's watching this. I don't know if I was in that moment, but sometimes I do. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I be thinking about somebody when I'm talking. specific ass person. I'm over here talking about people and you people and y'all, but I'm thinking of a specific motherfucker.
Yeah. Sure felt that way. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, damn, okay. I hope they got the message.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't want to bore y'all, but I would love to play a bit more of this fucking video. I've already played 20 minutes of it.
In most cases, you're not boring me. It's just that once my week gets to a certain point, it just gets tough.
Half-breed invasion. See, it's the rhetoric that bothers me, man. And that's why I be saying, whenever y'all start talking about immigration, I immediately go to the Holocaust, and other genocides around the world. Because that's where my brain goes when y'all start talking about that immigration rhetoric. Because it's the othering of another, of a people's. Let me see. Let me play some more.
So parties across politics, including left-wing parties, recognize that there is a so-called immigrant problem in France. And so we have protests like...
See, look, that's just like here in the States today. The left and the right both agree that there's an immigrant problem.
These medical students in 1935 demonstrating against refugees and immigrants who are coming to France and want to practice medicine. They say, well, France for the French is a popular slogan at this time. Now, in response to this populism, the successive governments try to obstruct immigration. So they limit political rights of immigrants. They limit professional rights. They give the police new powers to arrest immigrants and illegal aliens. And the Republic...
That don't sound familiar to y'all? I swear to God, that's ICE.
So this democratic regime of the interwar years establishes internment camps for these refugees and for what it calls undesirables. This is a really popular term at the time. The undesirables, often they come from Spain, fleeing the Spanish Civil War. So this network of internment camps is later used by Vichy to house immigrants. Now, I don't want to give you the impression that everyone in France is a rabid anti-Semite.
Racist? He's being so nice. Racist is what he meant. And the same thing out of the people talking about the people coming out of Spain. I bet you those were brown-ass people at this time.
And in fact, in 1936, France elects its first Jewish prime minister. So Léon Blum, first socialist prime minister and first Jewish man to lead France. I also don't want you to think that French anti-Semitism is like the Nazis'
I don't want you to think
biological anti-Semitism. Often it's based more on culture. We might describe it as a cultural anti-Semitism. It's not about eradicating the Jewish race. It's more about excluding them from society.
He keeps on saying that shit like it's okay. You know, and then like I be saying all the time, slippery ass fucking slope. If you on this exclude them from society shit, the next step is fucking eradicating them, right? And it's gonna be easier for you to take that step if you've already excluded them from society, right? That's common sense. This is how things happen. Things don't happen like overnight. Things happen in steps, gradually.
For failing to assimilate into the French nation.
And just to jump in, Chris, this is well, firstly, everyone who's watching this is completely aware of how striking the parallels are between what you're talking about and the world we're still living in, with all sorts of minorities and peoples being blamed for the situation that is actually not their fault. But you know, what you just said there about assimilation is going to lead very nicely, I think, with when the presentation Mag does on next Wednesday about the Jewish population of Normandy, because it's not that the Jews in Normandy weren't welcome as such. They were kind of doing things differently to how the regular Normandy population, which is very much farming based and agriculture, and then the Jews perhaps are coming to places like Rouen and Cherbourg, and they're setting up shops, and it's more about trade. And there's a sense of that's not how we do things there. You don't just come and open a shop from nowhere. You've got to have been in the area for 200 years before you can have a property or have a shop. And it's not because they're Jewish particularly, it's because they're different. And I get that little bit about you can't do it that way. This is not how we do it here. You're British. You don't understand how we do it here. You've got to play it there, the game by the rules of the people who have already in the game, so to speak. So it's I think you're making a very good point that there's biological anti-Semitism, and there's just we don't really like them because they're different to us. We don't want to kill them. We just don't really want to associate with them, and it's still awful, but it's different. It's not to be compared on the same playing field, I think.
There's two points that I could raise from what you've just said. So they're really good examples because it shows that when people met Jews for the first time, their ideas about Jews have perhaps already been conditioned. So when they meet Jewish people who might be setting up businesses, or like these medical students who see these Jews coming over and taking their jobs or taking their university places, this activates the prejudices that are in these people, even if they've never met a Jew before. And the other thing, the other point that's really important to think about is that the world is a much smaller place at this time. So people from the neighboring city or neighboring village were foreigners. They could, so if you, there might be rivalries or suspicion of French people, but just because they come from the next village along. Now, if you have a German Jew arriving in your village, well, imagine it would be the talk of the town for all the wrong reasons. I think. But I suppose the point to conclude this section is that
he said the German would be the talk of the town for all the wrong reasons. There he goes, being soft again. So they would be the German, the one who's persecuting the Jews over there, outwardly and in front of the world, comes to a French village, and he's gonna be treated like a hero. He's gonna be treated like a king. It's like, you're fighting the war. You're fighting the war. You're killing the Jews. Let me buy you a beer.
Which Jews? The 13th tribe?
Well, we're talking about the Ashkenazi Jews, the Jewish, the Eastern, European Jews.
The 13th tribe.
Well, that's what they. Please don't confuse the audience. Ouch.
What? What did I do?
It's funny to me because when you ask questions like that, I mean, it's perfectly fair. It's just that it's gonna cause confusion with the people that don't know this stuff. You know what I'm saying? You're interjecting, you're interjecting knowledge that not that the audience doesn't know this. It's just that that's like a whole nother topic, because we're talking about the Ashkenazi Jews, the ones that the Germans were persecuting, and then we were talking about gypsies and shit. So that's the topic. That they claim to be the 13th tribes. You know what I'm saying? These are I'm trying. That's why I didn't want to go down this road, and I want to be offensive. You know what I'm saying? These people who are pretending to be something they're not. This is who we're talking about. Those people. You forced me to say that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no,
that's being mean.
That's being mean behind how they became that. Honesty is being mean.
That's not. You're not being sensitive to their feelings. They identify as the 13th tribe.
But no, I think it's offensive to me. Like it's for them to lie about all of this and then try to, call somebody like myself or someone like me that anti-Semitic, and I'm like, dude, how
And
can I?
even the term anti-Semitic is so painful. That's what I was saying earlier. That's another part of this that leads into confusion because,
What?
like I say, you said 13th tribe, and then we got anti-Semitic. God damn it! What are we talking about here? You know what I mean? For the lame, not the lame person, but like for like a person that hasn't done this kind of study. You get what I'm saying? Like and it's the point. That's the point. That's the point. They're really great at this. They're really fantastic at it. It's like the double speak thing. You know what I'm saying? They're really great at it, and that's where the anti-Semitic, like it now that the using Semitic just gave them a little bit more legitimacy. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like the 13th tribe. There goes some more legitimacy, and they're just like
No, but it really isn't any legitimacy because I mean it was only 12 tribes. So when you say the 13th tribe, like that's why it really is like, okay, I never heard of the 12 tribe. I mean, no, the 13th tribe. People who got some sense, and anybody who don't know, at some point they'll be like, oh, that's what he meant when they realize it. So I mean, regardless, I mean.
Well, they do have the 13th, the way the cycle goes. Like I was saying, you can count it at 13. How does it go? How does it go? And it's really the Muslims that took on that, but they got that from somebody else. And it has to do with the calendar, the moon cycle. But
360-day
it's actually more efficient than the one where we do the leap year forward and all that shit. Because that's the reason why you have to do a leap year, is because the calendar is off, and that's the catch-up point to put it back on, because it didn't fell behind each month. I don't know exactly how that goes, but you know what I'm saying. I'm sure people out there know what I'm talking about.
28 days for every month.
So that's where the 13th. That's where the 13th come from, but it still doesn't matter. These people, they weren't really Semitic people. Semitic peoples is somebody else, and they weren't no damn, whether it was 12 or 13, there wasn't no tribe of Israel either. Get the fuck out of here. Go home and go, they've been lying to you, if you believe it. They, please go read. They've been lying to you. You're confused. But I think there's a good number of them know that it's not true, and that's one of the things that has to do with Israel and the Palestinians. And whenever they have arguments about like the war in 1932 or when Israel became Israel, or where the borders should be, and all of this stuff, that's them denying like the truth, that they know the truth is the truth. So there's a good segment of them that do know that they are pretending and they're putting on a clown suit. But I think there's a good number of them that has no idea. They think it's a real thing. The ones that's in it. You get what I'm saying? Of course, it's a bunch of people outside that think it's a real thing looking at it. But the people that know, anybody that knows, bro. Like this is not no hidden knowledge, really. It's not even nothing that's like, and they can't even deny this stuff. Like nobody can deny this. There's documented evidence of all of this.
There's proof. Yeah.
So there's
because I mean I think even the ones that have the argument, they know, they understand the dynamics all the way around. Even better than us in a lot of cases, but they
stick to that argument because it benefits them as a people, and then it's a narrative that they have created, that they follow this narrative because it benefits them as a people. And and you really can't blame them to a certain extent, and the thing is, other peoples should I ain't gonna say do the same as them, but as far as how they come together as a community, they come together as a damn community. And that's also the way, you know, the whole thing I'm focusing on this week is this colonization shit and the idea of the other and taking land and fucking landlords and colonies and changing people's language and basically controlling them, forcing them to conform and all of this. So over here in the States, it was the same thing that they did. And so many of them coming is how they won. You know what I'm saying? This settler colonialism way of doing it, the way of conquering a land by not really conquering it, but just basically setting up shop and just keeping on building more houses and shit on land that's not yours. You know? It happens over a long period of time. It's a gradual thing. The natives look up, the Aboriginal people look up, and it's like, because at first it was just a few of them. They look up a little while later and like, God damn. Where the hell all y'all come from? Y'all got houses and shit?
Yeah.
What are y'all doing? Them damn fences y'all putting up and shit? Y'all fucking shit up. So my point is, like the anarchist that's in me, you know, the system was set up 400 years ago or however long ago, and that's what led us to where we are today. And we have to understand that to deal with today. But also, I feel like we need to dismantle this thing and not even go at this whole thing this whole way. We got to go all the way back to colonization and before colonization, and now move on from there to be able to get to where we should be, because we already, it's like how you went the wrong way. You know how you get lost? Have this ever happened to you, Pat, while you're driving? And like, I had a GPS address one time. I was looking for a library or a bookstore or whatever, because I needed to buy this specific book that I couldn't find nowhere, and I needed it for a class. And I needed to get to class that day or whatever. I don't remember what the fuck. I was doing a lot of shit. I always be doing a lot of shit at the same time. But anyways, the GPS sent me to a place. You know, I typed in the name of the place, the name of the bookstore or library, and the GPS took me to this fucking empty ass fucking field on the side of the damn freeway. It was like, you are here, and it was nothing. It was an empty field. It wasn't even a building. It was grass. and it was like 30 miles or some shit out the way from where I should have been. 30, 40 miles. And I had to drive all the way back. So I'm just asking you, Pat, you ever had the GPS send you the wrong place or that far off, or and then you got to turn around and go all the way back? So I want you to tell me a little bit about that. But also, my point before I forget is that, that's what we have done as a society, as a culture, as a people, as humans. We went the wrong way, you know what I'm saying, down the freeway. We had the wrong GPS locations. We got to bust a Yui, and we done already went 30, 40, 50, 60 miles in the wrong direction. So we got to go 30, 40, 50, 60 miles back in the other direction just to get back to a starting point where we was at before when we fucked up. You get what I'm saying?
30, 40 years.
No, I was using miles on the freeway as a comparison, but it'd probably be more like 400 years or longer, 500 years, maybe even a little bit longer than that. Whenever that colonization shit really, really, really kicked off, we have to go back to that. We got to go back to that point because everything has been wrong. on top of that. You know what I'm saying? We've been driving in the wrong direction. You know, building the road in the wrong way. All of this, the whole thing. So we got to go back to the point where, you know, things where we really fucked up. It's kind of like I say, you get lost like before, because I remember before we had GPS, and my ass, I still get lost even with GPS.
Map.
I'm freaking retarded. Yeah, and I used to have a map in the car. But it's hard to read maps too. You know what I'm saying? That shit is kind of hard. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and say that you know it's easy to just look at the map and fucking figure out where the hell you are and shit. Because you can look at the one at the mall and be like, it says you are here, but that don't mean shit to you. Be like, what the fuck? The fuck that mean? But what I'm saying is, before GPS, I would get lost. I remember one time I was dropping somebody off after work in an area of town that I had never been in. And then when I left them, I don't know what I did. Maybe I thought I knew what I was doing when I left, after I dropped them off, but I was totally going in the wrong way to go home away from this, you know, side of town and shit. And I had drove the wrong way for a long time and didn't recognize nothing. And like I say, this is before GPS. I may or may not have had a map in the car. It was in the middle of the night anyway, and it was dark as fuck. So that was another reason why I went the wrong way. Because in this neighborhood, it was a neighborhood. And they, you know, some of these neighborhoods don't really have a lot of fucking like street lights and shit. It's really fucking dark. So, but anyways, I realized I'm like going the wrong way. And so I had to be able to find my way home, I had to find my way back to that person's house that I had dropped off. You get what I'm saying? And that's what I did. I backtracked my way when I went the wrong way and got lost. I remembered my turns and stuff, and I did the opposite of that and took me back to the person's in their neighborhood. And then that's when I was able to go the right way and start heading home. You know what I'm saying? And it was a long ass way. And so, but I mean, I'm like saying the same thing over and over with different examples, but it's just like, that's what
you feel like in order for us to make this right, we gotta go back to where we began and start over.
Where the major fuck ups started happening with that settler colonialism shit, when they stealing land and shit, you know, creating the colonies, chopping up Africa and shit, all of that shit. Now, some of that shit can't be undone, like the names of these countries and stuff like that. There's no way. I'm not stupid. You know what I'm saying?
No, but you can change all of that.
I mean, you can change the names, but what I mean is like the shape of Nigeria, the shape of Ghana, or whatever. Maybe some of them could change because some of those countries really feel like they're not that, especially in Africa. And some of those countries can be merged together and have a different name, and the shape of them may be changed. But a lot of them will pretty much stay the same. It's been so long now. These people have these nationalities. No
borders.
They look, but they identify with this stuff because, like I was saying about the people being French, these people are French. Like if they're in Africa and they call it, like, what was it, Angola? They were talking about in the show, and those people in Angola are French because France have been over there for so fucking long and making those people French. And like the guy said in the video, or maybe it was the other video, the lady said that the colonizer and the people getting colonized are no longer, everybody is different. After 300-400 years, everybody done changed now. We all not what we was 400 years ago. You know what I'm saying? You're not purely French if there was such a thing, and I'm not purely Aboriginal no more if there is such a thing. Do you get what I'm saying?
If there's, all right, I'm gonna leave that.
I just said that for the sake of argument for those out there. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I'm right here.
You're like, hey, you talk about me. I'm real.
You know,
I exist. But you know, it's the point. It's the point of because that's what this is. That's what this is overall, and that continues to this day. It's a genocide of Aboriginal peoples around the world.
If you want to say indigenous, yeah.
Indigenous peoples around the world. And they call it colonization, or they call it bringing democracy, or they call it bringing capitalism, whatever they call it. You know, bringing Christianity. Ultimately, no, it's just the genocide of the original peoples,
and the robbing of land and resources
under the guise of those other terms that I just said.
Yeah.
And then constant genocides after genocides. And then that's why I wanted to focus on this. I don't have to play this video no more. But that's why I wanted to focus on this, was because then they like to big up this particular thing. It has become, we done lost Doc. I don't know if I offended Doc, or maybe he got tired. But they big up this fucking event, bro. They call it, you type in Holocaust and it types in the definition of this specific ass event. How flagrant is that to all the other people who have been through, you know, and we don't want to say worse because it doesn't matter. Let's just say been through things similar, almost the same. You know what I'm saying? You're belittling these people suffering by putting this particular event on a pedestal to the point where it's even the definition of the word. That is all the way ridiculous. And they continue to genocide people around the world to this day. They're genociding people in Yemen right now, Eritrea, Egypt, DRC, Australia still. You see what they don't talk about the freaking Aboriginals in Australia very much on the news.
Yeah,
They've been continuing to genocide them people.
Yeah, they're trying to genocide people down in South America as well. That people don't even really talk about.
Yeah,
much.
in Brazil a lot. I know that specifically. Yeah.
Shit, I think Colombia, Venezuela, like it's a lot of places that's
and then you could say Central America, Guatemala. Really, these are all, like I say, if you look at the map and you see where the genocides are happening, these people are going to be brown. They're going to have some kind of language that they speak that you don't know. They're going to know some of their generational fucking history and heritage. They have retained the names of their ancestors.
Yeah.
These people are jealous. It's an inferiority complex. They're jealous. And it's like what's happening in Palestine. They're jealous. So they're just like, they feel threatened by these people when these people aren't even are having any kind of threatening posture towards them. They're just threatened by their presence because it's authentic. It's genuine. They deserve to be there. They are the rightful heirs. And it's undeniable.
I mean, is there a real definition for right?
What, did I say something about being right?
I mean, they belong there.
Well,
so I mean, as far as like them being able to be there should be considered the right thing, is what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, but I agree with you. But beside the point of right and wrong, I mean, that's totally beside the point, because even in their way of they doing things within their law, they have law that says the exact same thing. But that's what's crazy about when they do this colonization stuff. And that's what's crazy why I covered yesterday about Neil Gorsuch's opinion on that case of Puerto Rico and why I think it's important. Because even their law, what they're doing is illegal even under their law. Come on. Get the fuck. Do you get what I'm saying? Even their own law, even their own systems, the way they do shit, it's still illegal. The colonization stuff is still illegal.
Yeah, I think this is something that I should be quiet on because I don't know how to say it nicely. So I'm just gonna ride it out.
Yeah, man. I have skills at these softening up like that dude was doing in the video. Politician. Let me politic this thing. And I'm sure I offended some people, but I try to keep whatever statements I make, as true as possible. So like you could be angry at it, but go look me up. Like we say, look that shit up. If you think whatever I said so far, look that shit up.
Yep.
Cause I've done my studying. That's the thing. And that's why it's hard for me to have conversations with people on things that I've done a lot of studying on. It's so irritating. It's so irritating. I fucking studied on a heavy ass topic for years, and somebody watched the damn TikTok and they want to argue with me on the topic. I'm like, bro,
not a TikTok.
Please, it's like, bro, please stop. Please stop. Please just stop. I have to exit myself out of conversations all the time. You know what I'm saying? Once they get on topics like, that I know a lot about, I exit out. Nobody really wants to hear, you've been lied to your whole life. That stuff you believe is bullshit. And they think you're stupid. That's why they fed you the bullshit. And you swallowed it right up, and now you're regurgitating it.
Yeah. They knew that they would be able to use them as someone to pass that message along. So it's like,
we're ads. That's the biggest thing. I swear to God. And I swear, Black people, especially here in the United States, we are walking fucking ads, bro. We always trying to tell somebody to get on this. Hey, why don't you get on this thing or whatever? Or you heard about the new chips or the new snacks or whatever? Or you heard about this new service or this new product? Or did you see this TV show or whatever? Maybe it's not just Black people, but people are ads now. They're walking ads. They have the labels on them.
well, I'm gonna say, like, to me, I feel like it is a bunch of Black people that really is like the walking billboards. Because I mean, not because
like more than others.
More than others, because I mean, but yeah. I also have to look at that. I probably encounter more Black people than I do, white people in that kind of conversation. More open to speak to someone, or that will speak with me. That's of a brown shade. But when I talk to white people, it's more politics or something, substantial.
Yeah, and Black people be talking about Beyonce and fucking and
I really hate to say that. Not that I don't talk to Black people about it, but I'm just saying in majority, I hear stuff like that. I think a lot of them avoid that conversation because it's a tough conversation. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Like,
They don't feel comfortable with it. And I used to think that everybody just was super ignorant of a lot of things. But every time I talk to people, I get surprised at how much they know about this, that, or other related to politics and global events and everything. It'll be some random hood dude with a bunch of goals in his mouth, and he'll be telling you about what's happening in Taiwan or some shit that's happening in the Philippines. People be knowing, people be aware. And you know, this is what I wanted to talk about a bit before you go. I was listening to a song earlier, and this is like a dude that's in Africa, and they use like their native tongue mixed with like English and mixed with like, I don't know, French, and they also use like the slang of like American slang. You know what I'm saying? Current, proper form in the right way usage.
Context, yeah.
In the right context and everything. And you know, I was listening to the song and I was thinking about that. And I was thinking about how the world is, you know, it's smaller now. You know what I mean? The world is smaller now. The way our cultures, the way we share, you know, because of the internet and everything, we're so connected and people are watching these TikToks of people around the world and so forth and so on. So like, the culture spreads around the world, like the dominant culture, and then it's crazy how we be talking about Americans and how the culture is so dominant, and then everybody picks up that slang and use it in that way, and that shit came from over here. And it's just, what my point is, that the world is smaller, and so because of that, we should be able to use this to come together as a world people, because you know, my point of, and I'm gonna keep covering this for the rest of the week, my point of covering France and the Jews and so forth, they created a worldwide network for them, for their people, and to protect them and to keep their wealth going through their generations, so they could still have that wealth from back in chattel slavery. And you know, the thing about Elon Musk and what's crazy is, you know, and like we touched on him a bit, but like I said, that, you know, I don't think he's the guy that he appears to be. I really don't. And you know, I don't know, I think I mentioned that he was born in South Africa during apartheid, you know, and that his dad, you know, got rich off of a diamond mine, you know, that, you know, he didn't acquire in no legal way. It's just off top, knowing that it's apartheid Africa and knowing what they were doing. They were just taking people's land. If somebody else owned that mine, which it probably was, who the fuck else would it be? Own a mine in South Africa that's a damn diamond, or it wasn't diamond, it was like rubies or something. Like, Africans are too stupid to know that there's rubies or whatever here and that they can use that to trade and make money off of that shit. You don't think somebody else was already doing that before Elon Musk's dad came over there? Get the fuck out of there, out of here. They probably came in there and killed all the people who owned the damn diamond ruby mine before. And just like how they always do, stake a fucking American flag or whatever kind of flag there. This is mine now. And fucking start making the money off of that shit. And that's how Elon Musk became who he is. I mean, he's a genius. But he had a fucking good ass fucking start, bro. And then the other part of this is the racism. Apartheid Africa. That's where Elon Musk grew up at. Okay? If you think that didn't have an impact on here, get the fuck out of here. He was watching them lynch and kill niggas right in front of him while he was growing up his whole fucking life. So, anyways, my point is, those
So
people.
you think that because his father, because I think he had a hard time with his father. I sent you a video today that kind of goes into some of, you know, that stuff, but either way, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't really know what to really say about
It's hard to
Elon.
know
Go.
anybody that's in the limelight, like I always say, any kind of celebrity, because these people have image consultants and all kinds of shit, bro. They control whatever press. Like the pictures of Kim Kardashian, she don't let no pictures get out that look bad. You know what I'm saying? She controls that shit. So everybody, if they're a celebrity, whatever image you have of them is probably not very accurate. You know what I'm saying? Most likely.
Photoshopped.
Most likely. So, and when I say image, I'm not just saying like the picture of them. I mean, people's idea of them. Yeah. So, but my point is the world is smaller. You've got these people who carved out a world for them and created a system for them. That's fine. The world is smaller now. We're all connected around the world. And the thing is, we are recognizing our similarities, our similar struggles around the world, especially any countries that have been colonized. So all of the post-colonial peoples should band together and like using the internet and like really just rebuild this system for us, or just build a system for us.
Well, there's two.
World system.
The biggest problem that I have is that there's too many people with a defeatist mindset. Oh no, they ain't gonna let you do that. You know, like some very discouraged people that doesn't have, they can't see a world where we can really have more balance, and are too afraid to make that attempt. I don't really understand it, because that's definitely not me. I think that shit, we got to make some kind of effort somewhere. Like, I mean, am I the type that just say war, war, war? Not necessarily, but if that's what it's gonna take for there to be some fairness, okay, it is what it is.
Yeah, sometimes the bully got to get his ass whooped. And I think we managed to piss off every single body, everybody, with this segment that we did today. Because I think that's why we lost Doc. I ain't gonna lie, but we're talking bad about France. We're talking about the Jews. They was the ones persecuted and shit. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about the United States pissing everybody off. Gypsies.
Man, look, that's not my goal to piss people off, really, but you don't think it's offensive to the people who are the real people that can't even admit that that's who they are,
especially that term Semitic. But what really pisses me off is the Holocaust.
Well, I mean,
that pisses me off.
Black people are still going through one.
Exactly.
And for 400 years, like, it's like actually still happening.
Actually active now. And they're gonna call it that. In the future, they're gonna call it that. Because that's what it was. And the Aboriginal peoples of the Americas.
Yeah, but I mean, see, the thing, what bothers me is that, okay, you care about these people who has, survived it. They're like one of the richest, most, taken care of people now, alive.
They came out of it. They came out of that situation on top like a motherfucker. And this is what pisses me off. I was talking to somebody recently about the museums.
Look, during the time that they went through their time, so were we. We was just going through it during their time. Before them, during and after.
Nigga,
But
what?
no, but
And
you
and
couldn't give a shit
continually.
less. Yeah, and you couldn't give a shit about us, and you want to be offended about somebody else who they done made it through it. Like it's done. Like nobody's doing anything to them currently, but this is something that's happened to these same people currently. So like you're part of the problem. Like if you're upset about that, you're a part of the problem. You're just like the rest of them because you can ignore the fact that this is happening and
And you done picked a side. You're the SS guys, or you're the people of France who turned a blind eye when they was rounding up those people. You're them now. You know what I'm saying? Because you watching them round up people now, and you are turning a blind eye.
Yeah.
You know?
That's exactly what's happening. Like that's pretty much it. So, like I said, my thing is not really to, I mean, if it takes pissing some people off, I'm okay with that because, like, people really do need to realize that, like you can't just, care about one group of people, and it's like, oh well, those people they're used to getting their ass kicked.
And let me make an example let me give the audience an example of how lopsided it is, because how many of y'all have been to a Holocaust museum, and how many Holocaust museums have you seen or whatever when you driven by or whatever, or heard about, or did they go on a Holocaust museum school trip? Did your kids go to a Holocaust museum field trip? Did you go to one? You know what I'm saying? Look, but what about all of the other stuff? Like I say, I was talking to someone the other day, and they were telling me yesterday that they had been to more than one Holocaust museum, and I was like, and we was out and I was like, you ever been to the Buffalo museum, the Buffalo Soldier Museum? No, I never even heard of it. It's like 2 blocks away from where we are right now. You probably drive by it all the time. These were black soldiers who died in the Civil War. And you know what? The dude who made that museum, he collected that shit on his own. He didn't have no funding. He built up what was somebody's house into a damn museum with his own money over time, and collected artifacts and shit over time on his own. You see how big and beautiful the Holocaust museums are?
Mm-hmm.
They're big and beautiful. They have,
but they won't let you see. That's the thing. They won't let you forget about their hurt, but they're still trying to, push our hurts under the rug, and and it's not, and it's not just our government. I mean, it's just regular everyday people that claim that they care about black people, and they think you're cool, they think I'm cool, they this, that, and the other, but they can still like they see something on the
and let me make
news.
another example about the damn museums that's so ridiculous. Like, this happened on the other side of the world, right? What does it have to do with us over here in Houston? Like, the thing is, we don't see no museums for the genocide in the Congo. And by anybody's estimates, the numbers,
Leopold
numbers that
killed millions of people.
That blows anybody's numbers of the Jewish Holocaust all the way out the water. It don't matter what numbers you come up with.
Because it's still really undetermined. But just with the guesstimations, they're saying like over 100 million.
100 million people, nigga. That's a genocide. That's more than one country. There's countries that have less people than that, and so we don't have no fucking big ass fucking monument for that. Where is the fucking museum for that? Okay, it happened in the other side of the world. It didn't really relate to us. Okay, fair argument. But why the fuck do we have this Holocaust museum here? That happened on the other side of the world. It don't have nothing to do with us either.
And we didn't do it. We didn't do it.
That's my point. because that's what they're gonna argue if I say why there ain't no Congo museum. Well, shit, we ain't have nothing to do with that. We didn't do that, and it happened on the other side of the world. Well, same thing with this. Why is this here? No, this is different. No, it's not. What's different about it? They're European. That's what's different.
The skin color, the skin tone.
Their paleness. And they don't want to admit this. This is what people don't want to admit. And this is what makes people angry and get off the show. Let me play this clip right here.
No, I don't think he left because of that.
Yeah, he probably just got tired. But I think we be losing people because I be watching the little number.
Yeah, maybe. But it is what it is. Something for him to think about tomorrow.
I'm blowing to me, y'all. Black children in 1898 in Long Beach, California, are learning how to fight fires, how to be firemen at school. In that same year, in the same location, 1898, Long Beach, California, Black children were learning how to make shoes. Same year, same place, 1898, Long Beach, California, Black children at an orphanage are learning how to make and repair furniture. Nowadays, your kids learn how to sit still for 8 hours a day and fill in bubbles for a standardized test that benefits the state, that benefits the school, that benefits the government more than them. This is the problem with public education. We need more of this. We need to go back to this. And we need to get away from this completely because it's truly failing our kids, even if they pass the test.
I agree with that. Their teacher to the test is really sad. I don't even try to. I used to be bumping heads with the peoples at the schools, but they don't really have no power. They're just following their orders. It's like it's so pointless. It's so pointless to argue with them. And then they don't have like what are they gonna do,
bro? When I'm I'm probably gonna go out, like
You're breaking up.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, still breaking up a little bit. What were you saying? You're gonna take your kid out of school or something? What did you say?
Well, no, I'm just saying if he stays in school, because I probably would. Like I take him out of school, but I was saying like I would just go and be a part of the school board, like become some kind of representative or something, and bring this stuff up because I mean it seemed like everybody else is too scared to really just say.
But I don't think that argument right there is not going to work because it's so ingrained. Like the guy said in the video, they make money off of these tests. So it's ingrained. It has to do with like these textbooks.
No, I don't care. But I don't care about the tests. They can have those tests. They need to implement things that's actually going to benefit the kid along with it. Like maybe if you teach them, if you actually teach them shit, when they have these standardized tests, they'll actually pass it without having to, you don't have to be nervous about whether or not they will pass it or
no,
whatever.
I hate the tests. I think we should throw them all the way out. Some kids don't, I'll be having anxiety. They put so much pressure on these kids to pass these tests. Like, if you don't pass this test, you're going to be a failure. You're going to go to jail. You're going to be a crackhead for the rest of your life.
I never
then
worried
you're going
about
to
it.
die.
I that shit ain't never stressed me out. I mean, but I always did well with them anyway. So, like,
I do well too, but not
professional
everybody.
Test taker.
Me too. But that's another part that's a problem because being good at taking tests doesn't mean you really know the fucking content. Because I'd have passed tests that I didn't really know the content plenty of times because I'm good at taking tests. Been doing it for so damn long. If
Well,
it's
yeah, I
multiple
mean,
choice, nigga, I'm
if
passing that hoe.
exactly, and that's the thing. But see, that's the thing. That's the reverse psychology that you're able to use. And shit, I mean, if that's what needs to happen, look, shit,
In other
I'll go in there
countries,
and I'll
they
teach.
don't do that
I'll
multiple
go.
choice. You have to fill in the blank. And it's some tests, the classes that I took that were like that, and it wasn't no multiple choice, and you had to write in your answers. And I ain't gonna lie, that shit was hard. That shit was hard as fuck because you really just gotta pull it out of your mind and put it on the paper. When it's the multiple choice, you don't have to pull it out your mind. It's already written there.
But see, but that's a part of the problem that, if they would teach these children what they need to know, they could pull the thoughts of those answers out of their head.
And they're not. They're teaching them to the test, and the test is everything. And it's because of the money, because this just the way the system has developed this way. They rely on these systems of the government funding related to these test scores and all of this fucking bullshit. It really benefits private companies. That's all it do. It's like the government contracts, like we always be talking about. Private contractors. Guarantee you it's private contractors providing these tests to these schools in these different districts and different states all over the United States, making a killing. And again, here goes another fucking industry that ain't fucking doing nothing and just predating over people, recycling the damn tests. I saw some shit. I was watching a video about that, how they be reshuffling that shit. And it's like anybody, I could do that. That's not hard. It's really easy. I can shuffle up the test too and give it to you again year after year and get paid for it. The fuck? So, but you were saying though, the other part though, what you're saying as an answer, I think is good. The being part of the school board and also trying to push for them to learn more, because it'll be hard to push against the test. Like I say, they're making so much money off of that. But you can force them to teach the kids how to do something, how to make something. Like they done took shop, gym, and everything that's useful out of school. Music, they've taken all of that shit out. And now the kids just learn how to take a test all day long. Did I lose you, Pat? I can't hear you talking. Oh, okay. Yeah. I know it's getting late. I'm about to wrap it because I need to take a potty break. I ain't gonna lie. But
I need to lay down. I gotta get up in about 4 hours, 3.5, 4 hours, get this load done.
Yeah, so final thoughts on the since we got on the topic of the schools, like what kind of programs do you think would be a good idea? Because I stopped at Shape Community Center today and I was trying to look for something for my daughter to get into to volunteer kind of to help him with the community. And I think that would be a good thing to have kids doing extracurricular activity, doing volunteer work at these community centers that are already helping the community. That's just one idea.
Yeah.
As part of a class.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to answer your question, I mean, I think definitely there should be some kind of woodwork, class, home economics, and learning how to sew your own clothes, learn how to cook, shit like that. Business class, like I had DECA when I was in school, where it was kind of give you, the benefit, like you just kind of at least open your mind to some of how business works. And shit, like they don't, like a lot of them don't even know what a checkbook is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, It's probably similar to a class that I took called, I think it was called bookkeeping. And it was like Excel basically. And it was teaching you how to basically plug the numbers in correctly and know how to read those charts and shit like that. And that class was kind of hard, I ain't gonna lie. And it was useful as fuck because I don't remember taking anything else like that. But that kind of shit has been popping up in my life ever since. So that was a useful class. And I remember when I was in like kindergarten, and I know they don't really do this shit no more, but it was like kind of like when computers pretty much really was coming on mainstream when I was a little kid. And they taught us coding, bro. They taught us how to write computer language.
That would be another good class is computer, coding or
they taught us how to read it and write it and give commands, using the proper, exclamation point, the proper symbols. You have to memorize those proper symbols and the proper sequence of these commands. And as long as you put the commands in properly and in the proper sequence, then it's going to do that. You get what I'm saying? And so I never saw nothing like that again ever in my life. In no other classes did they teach me anything like that. And, remember we had MySpace. MySpace was kind of like that. You had to build it, and you had to understand some of that shit with that shit. And that was good. That was about that. And it's funny that freaking website went away because it was teaching people coding. Fucking Facebook and TikTok don't teach people how to do a goddamn thing. So, but yeah. And the other thing is bills, right? How to manage your money and shit. We didn't mention that. You said the bookkeeping and stuff, but actually literally how to manage your money, how to pay bills, the stuff about credit cards, interest rates, all that shit. Because that's another thing, bro. Like, it's so crazy how our system is. And we don't prepare these kids. And as soon as they turn 18, they're prey. Really, by the time they turn 17 and even 16, for a lot of people, because they already started getting out in the world, they're prey to all these companies. And that's what I don't like. Why we shouldn't, like, the commercials shouldn't be able to lie to you, and companies shouldn't be able to prey on like children or is completely ignorant of tax rates and interest rates and shit like that. But it's all game. It's all game at that point.
Oh yeah,
you should have known.
I mean, because if they don't start off, messing up, I mean, that's not helping them. The corporations, like, they need a certain percentage of the population to screw up so that they can take advantage of.
And it's really literally almost everybody that has to go at least for a while. So probably a good number of the population never really gets it together because they fall so far deep into it young. But for the rest of us, I'm sure we go through it regardless. Didn't you? I'm sure I did. I know I did. All of the traps, because I didn't know all of these scams and shit. And like Deuce was talking about the other day about the interest rates and shit. Like, I didn't know this stuff. I was taken advantage of over and over again until I started like looking at shit different. Because they guide you into like getting the mortgage and getting the car note, paying the car note. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. Go get a job, but like, I don't pay car notes no more. Like, cash cars is only, and that'll be me probably forever. I just don't see it, I just can't see it. Paying that every month and the stress about it. And then they'll come get it too. A little bit late. I had a repo. It hurt me so bad. That's the reason why I ain't gonna never fucking buy no fucking I ain't gonna never want to do that thing again. They hurt me. They hurt me, Pat. They hurt me. They touched me on my pee-pee.
They grabbed my cheeks. They grabbed my cheeks and tried to spread them.
I came outside to take Anaya to school in the morning, and I'm like, "Where's my truck?" I was driving a Mitsubishi Endeavor. It's like a SUV. And where's my truck? I'm like, what the fuck? Somebody done stole my car. Like, that's what I'm thinking, really, because I was just on the phone with them people the night before, the day before or whatever. I think it was the day before. I was already on the phone with them people, and I was always in regular communication with them. But it was one of those deals where it was like that day where it crossed over the like 2 month or whatever it was, full amount of due. You get what I'm saying? Because I was like behind robbing Peter to pay Paul, bro, living check to check like a motherfucker. So I was behind on my car note every month, but sometimes I would catch up a bit and then I would fall behind, and I was just doing that for the longest. And this was, like I say, it fell on that day where it was like 2. I was like, I got paid like the next day. I'm gonna pay y'all. Got it. Check coming. Fucking man, I went out there. My car was gone, bro. They hurt me. They hurt me bad.
Damn.
And then they charged me for the rest. They sold my car because I had to pay whatever full amount, and I didn't have it. You know how they do when you do that. I didn't have the money. And then they came back with a settlement amount, and I didn't have that either. So then they sold my car at auction for a certain amount, and then they charged me for the rest that I still owed on the loan. You know what I mean? That pretty much went on my credit because they subtracted the amount they got from auction, which was cheap as hell, and I still pretty much owed like almost the whole ass amount of the damn car. But what's crazy about that is I had that car for a bunch of years too. So not a bunch of years, but that's another thing about the whole thing. I'm just paying interest all the time. I started looking at the statement and I realized that my principal hadn't went down, and I think I had the car 4 or 5 years, but the principal hadn't went down hardly at all, like $25,000, I think. I don't remember what the price of what the car. And so that shit was like 23,000 or 24 or some shit after fucking 4 years, 5 years. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, we got. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying we're getting fucked. They hurt me. They corncobbed me. I'm prairie dogging it, Dad. Anyways, man, I'm gonna wrap it. It's 3.5 hours. Everybody's tired. We'll be back today, actually, tonight. You got it. You gonna be on the road, Pat? You gonna be here?
Yeah, I'm gonna be on the show. I'm got to do some stuff as early as possible in the morning. I'll probably shut down early tomorrow. Get
Well,
some
like
rest
your doctor said, you need eat some fruits and shit. My doctor said I need to drink water. I haven't been drinking enough water. They were looking at my kidneys and my bladder and shit. And I drink tea all the time. And I was thinking today, because me, I have to logically look at stuff, and I always look at the universe, and it's like, I grow plants. I love plants. And I was thinking today while I was driving, I was in traffic, and I was thinking, would I put tea on my plants? Would I put iced tea on my plants, or hot tea on my plants, or any kind of tea like ginger tea that I made?
But tea's not really that bad. Like, I mean, because that's
the argument, though. That's where my brain works, and you're right to a certain extent. But at the same time, back to that argument. What I'm saying, would you water your plant with some tea? That's what we are, really. We're like plants that walk around. We need sunlight and we need a bunch of water.
Yeah,
just like plants.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because I've been of course, been trying to drink more water, training myself to drink more water per day. But
I just said it because I'm having a hard time with it.
Well, my hardest thing is getting the sunlight.
I get sunlight
directly on my skin.
I walked in the park yesterday, and I always be walking in the park, and I like to do it in the day, usually evening time. And if y'all follow my Instagram, I took some pictures of the sunset that day, and when the sun was out and it was up and high and shining, it had beams coming out like it was like one of them godly scenes you see in church. Really cool little video if y'all follow me on Instagram. But yeah, I get my sun. But the water I don't. And it's because of, like you just said, I have that mindset of tea is not that bad, you know? And pretty much all I drink is sweet tea and hot tea. And I drink healthy teas. Like this is ginger, organic ginger root I'm drinking right now. And you know, I drink turmeric and whatever. It just be the whatever it is. So it be natural shit. And but still, like I say, I was driving today and I was thinking about it, and I was like, okay, Chaka, you love plants. Would you pour tea on those plants? And the obvious answer is no. It's really simple. So I have to tell myself that, you know, so I'm going to treat my plant better than I'm going to treat myself. You know, there's no, and this is what I said to myself while I was driving. There's no substitute for water, period.
None. Nope, none. Well, look, I got a rude awakening today. I can't drink coffee anymore.
Yeah, I stopped drinking coffee for a while already. Blood pressure? They said my cholesterol was high. That's one of the drugs they want to give me something for. I'm scared to take any drugs for heart stuff, cardiovascular stuff. I'm so scared.
What is it? Nitric acid on
what that they prescribe me?
No, I'm telling you, that's what they're saying is in coffee, and that's like another part of why they're saying, because like my liver is trying to detox that stuff out.
You just have to you have to look at it like acidity, and that's why we was talking about that before, and the acidity versus alkalinity, because that's what your liver does. It detoxifies your body. The more toxic your body is the more acidic it is. That's the direction it goes in. And like less water makes your body more acidic too. And that acidity is also what makes you sick. So, but it's simple with the liver and it's simple with the idea of acidity. And that's the same reason why those foods that she told you not to eat, because those foods are acidic. You know what I'm saying? So you want to focus on alkaline foods.
I know, and that's but look, and I asked about beans. No red beans, no white beans, no black eyed peas, no.
It's because you know that the truth is those are not really good for you, and they're really starchy, and your body just turns them into sugars. So sugar is like acid. That's acidic.
Well, but that's a part of why I can't lose weight. So that's why, like, I'm pretty much on a carbon diet, because like a lot of those other foods that, like what we mentioned that we just culture,
You're breaking up. You're breaking up.
You sound breaking up. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're clear now.
Yeah, the carbon diet is what I'm going on right now. Because the nitrogen.
Damn, you're breaking up again. So what? Wait. So tell me what foods are you eating? How are you dealing with this? Like you gotta go truck stops and shit. How are you dealing with this?
Oh, I went to Walmart today and bought me a bunch of fruit, and you know, like that's pretty much what my food is gonna be right now. Is just just mainly fruits, and that's gonna help me.
So and you can't even have no breads probably because that's gonna turn into sugar. They tell you
no,
that too.
yeah, no white, no wheat. You know, I can do like I actually have some stuff called Ezekiel bread.
Damn, we lost him. Yeah, I would have a hard time not eating bread. I love fucking bread. I can go without eating meat, but I'm gonna be craving some kind of like bread, like some kind of pastry or biscuit, toast, stuff like that, pancakes, waffles. I love anything like that. You there?
Yeah, man. No, I was just saying, yeah, you can't eat like that regular white and wheat and other stuff like that.
So other kind of pastries you can eat. I'm sure you can't eat biscuits. So if they said no white or wheat, what kind of bread can you eat then? What kind of bread is good?
I was just telling you that there's some stuff that I found. You find the bread in the freezer section or the refrigerated section. It's called Ezekiel bread, and you can. It's pretty good. But at the same time, I mean, no sandwiches because
it's got to be made with them turkey. Those processed meats are really bad for us. Really, they packed with carcinogens, and anything that's been preservative, it has those preservatives. Anything that has preservatives in it.
Yeah, I just got to get back to trying to cook stuff for myself again.
So
but she said navy beans, black beans. Shit, she gonna have to really make me a list of all the stuff she said.
Yeah, because what about rice? You probably can't eat regular rice. Probably only wild rice or something.
Yeah, she said black rice. I guess maybe even brown rice, but no white rice. No sugar, no not no regular white sugar or brown sugar. Like I can use like cane sugar, coconut sugar.
How long have you been on this diet? I'm gonna try to. Hey, look, I'm gonna try to support. I'm gonna try to support you, bro. I'm gonna try to do it for a couple of days or a week and see how long I could do it. How long did you start? When did you start?
No, this is today. She called me today with it.
Oh, that's perfect. So that's perfect. So hey, look, I'm gonna try to support you on this because I know it's gonna be hard as fuck. So I'm gonna do it with you for about a week. I can't say I'm gonna do it longer than that.
Well, no, I'm. This is my thing, and I love fruit. Oh,
I need to drink more water, so this will make me do that because you said no sugar. That means no tea. You know what I'm saying? And then
I drink my tea with just lime in it, and it's great.
Yeah, I don't drink. Yeah, I don't put nothing in my. Well, I drink this sweet tea though, the cold tea that I drink.
But I did get agave because that's the thing. Like with my sugar, with my coffee, I didn't add sugar, but I would add cream that's already sweetened. So yeah. I mean,
I never add anything to my tea, but I drink the sweet tea, so I have to cut that out. You know what I'm saying? But the tea is could be acidic too, though. But yeah, I'm gonna just cut out the sweet tea and drink because I need to drink water. So if I do this with you, it'll help me to try. I've been trying to drink water. They told me to drink water. I've been going to the doctor, bro. I don't know what's going on. I need to get my shit straight. So, but I know I don't drink water. I get it from my mom. My mom she don't drink water. My daughter done got on that shit too. Like all three of us don't drink water. My mama had problems with kidney stones and all kinds of shit as a result.
Look, no peanut butter. That's a big problem for me.
Damn, bro. That's what That's what I've been eating while we was talking on the show.
No
peanut butter.
She put me on sunflower butter, which it tastes pretty damn good.
Yeah, they say peanut butter got a lot of. Like it say 14% saturated fat.
Yeah, I don't like almond butter, so she's like
7% sodium.
The sunflower butter is, I think, it might even be. It might actually be better than peanut butter, but it is
Four-
a little bit. It
4%
is a little
sugar.
bit. It is a little bit expensive. But
The first ingredient is peanuts. The second ingredient is dextrose. It's like, what the fuck is that?
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's horrible. But I love peanut butter. Like one of my favorite snacks is like apple slices with on some, with some peanut butter. That
Yeah,
was
me
my
too.
favorite. That was my shit.
Okay, no
So,
more peanut butter. Got it.
yeah. So
I'm gonna do it with you for a week.
As far as fruits, she told me no pineapple, no peaches, no apricots, no
Damn.
strawberries.
What? Damn, why strawberries? They're not even that sweet. Especially the ones we get.
I don't think it's just not good for us.
Because it's this damn modified as GMO shit. Okay.
Most like, yeah, and so I can have grapes, but it's gotta be seeded grapes.
Mm-hmm.
What else I got? I got blueberries, blackberries. That's when I went to the store.
Send me your list, cause I'm gonna have to wrap it. I gotta use the potty.
All right, man.
Send me a list of the diet, bro, or whatever. Because you said you need to get the doctor to clear it up for you. Whatever the information you get.
I got most of it. I mean, I'm just saying, like, as far as the beans and stuff, like what kind of beans I can actually eat.
Text it to me, bro. I'm gonna support you on this, bro. I know it's gonna be hard, bro. So I'm gonna do it with you, but only a week, cause I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna do.
This is my new life.
Yeah, I ain't gonna be able to make it my new life. I am not gonna lie to you or anybody else out here, or God that's watching. But I will try, and I'm gonna do it with you for a week. We'll be starting today, and we can talk about it throughout the show. All right, man. Peace and love. Get you some rest, man.
Peace and love.
All right.